Are you ready? Are you ready for the thrill of victory? Are you ready to taste victory? Are you ready to take your sports betting to a whole new level? Sit up, put your feet on the floor, because we have work to do. Welcome to the grind. Welcome to Cappers Nation, your weekly all things sports betting show. Tune in live every Thursday at 8 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Let us make you a more successful sports bettor.
Good morning, everybody, or afternoon. Cappers Nation Live. We are here. Somehow we are here under the weather, but we have survived another night, not only of betting, but of ear infections and sinus infections, but we are here nonetheless. Welcome, everybody. Cappers Nation Live. Monday Night Football Edition. You guys all know we love the Monday Night Football Edition. It's always a great time. Welcome. Tom Weiner tuning in first. Apendi Lulo, good morning. Matt, Joshua, good morning. Brian, good morning. Shane, good morning. Darren Lyons, good morning. Pat screwed your parlay. Pat screwed us all, for the most part. I'm sure there'll be some people that say that they didn't screw them. Nick, good morning. Got a TV, good morning. Good morning, everybody, or afternoon. We are live, just getting rolling, so bear with me just a minute. Didn't want to keep you guys waiting, so we hit the live button a little quick on the day. Good morning, William, tuning in via text message, watching on YouTube as well. I don't know why you just don't go make yourself a YouTube account and you come chat with us live. But either way, we're always glad to have you, brother. Glad to have everybody that tunes in with us. Should be a great episode today. We're going to break down Monday Night Football, Vikings and the Seahawks. That'll be good. We're going to break down some college hoops. Just getting some things up and rolling. Things seem to be lagging just a little bit. Arc Sunny, good morning. We'll have a nice big bounce back. William, I got you. You're all good. Shane, the only good bet you made was the Packers and the Titans. I'm right there with you. We had the Packers as a personal play, and obviously Titans is our free play, and I was right there with you. It seemed to be about the only thing good to come out of yesterday, although we did have some late premium plays that got released late that were nice winners. Chargers, Broncos over 37.5, as well as the over in the Utah Toronto Raptors game. That was a nice one. RX Sunny, yeah, Sunday killed us a lot of people. But just remember, even with the bigger games, you should never let them hurt you in a bad way. You know, they should never hurt you in a bad way. Hold on 1 second, folks. Give me 1 second, guys. Oh, there we go. I was having a hard time logging into my system here. But yeah, never let, no matter how big the game is, make sure, even when you step out on it, make sure it's not going to hurt you in a bad way. No game, doesn't matter how big it is, it still always needs to be within, bankroll and bankroll management criteria. No matter how big you step out on it, you always want to make sure that, it's not going to hurt you too bad. Shane, can we break down the Washington, South Dakota game? Yeah, we can take a look at that game for you. A little late. We can make that the late night chaser breakdown. We can make that the late night chaser breakdown. Cody T, welcome. Paul, welcome. Bobby Munoz, welcome. Fresh Escobar, good afternoon. Good afternoon, brother. Glad to have you with us. Just logging into our system here, so bear with me. Everything is super, super slow today on our end. But then again, it could just be me coming back from not feeling so swell. Not feeling so swell today, but hey, we got the antibiotics rolling. Got me on a nice steroid. We should be good to go. Should be good to go in another day. All right, let me try and get some of the stuff up because apparently we're not going to be able to get everything up. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start, I think we'll start in college basketball and then we'll go right into the NFL after that. Bob Munoz, something's in the air. Yeah, I ended up going to urgent care late last night. We were camping all weekend long out in the cold, but before that, before Thanksgiving, I ended up coming down with a cold, a sore throat, turned into a cold, turned into some nasal drip, turned into I'm glad I went in yesterday. I got to give kudos to my wife telling me that it was an infection, and I'm like, oh, no, it's not. They're not going to give me nothing other than some cough syrup. No. Lo and behold, ear infection in my left ear, which is, I could feel something in my ear. Left ear infection, the right one's irritated, and then a sinus infection. So I was at urgent care late last night. So doped me up on some antibiotics, some Sudafed-based cough syrup, and then some steroid to help shrink everything. So hopefully we'll be back to normal and full strength here in a little bit. But it should definitely be a good time and gonna be a good show. Even though I'm under the weather, I'm a little slow, a little on the slower side today, if you know what I mean. So either way, we're gonna have ourselves a ball. And you guys know me, I love breaking my college basketball 5-minute breakdown. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do some 5-minute college basketball breakdowns. Maybe they go a little bit longer than 5 minutes apiece, and that's okay. We'll get through a handful of college basketball. Not a big slate of games today. But either way, we're going to go through them and put you guys on some quality lanes, just like we did last night and the night before, or the day before, excuse me. And crazy. I think we should just go to betting our lanes, if you know what I mean. Taking a look at what we put out yesterday as far as lanes go. If I'm taking a look at some of these games, let's take a look. That one went under. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 and 3 yesterday on leads. But that also included a plus 185, which I told you guys I was going to bet. You know, we should probably count that as a free play winner, but we're not going to. Jameis Winston, no interception, plus 185. Darren Lyons wins the game of the week. I don't have one just yet. It's not mapped out yet. Plus, I doubt you guys want me to pick one when I'm under the weather and not at my best. So, hang tight. We'll get you one when I get one. I don't just throw one out just to have one. Allen, Minnesota looks good tonight. Minnesota and both Seattle do look good. They both have some great things about them today, or about them in general, that I think we're going to see today. Bobby, another big win should make it feel better. I agree. Winning always makes it feel better. Winning always makes it feel better. That's for sure. No doubt about that one, guys. No doubt about that one. Alrighty. Don't forget, Cyber Monday is going on sale. If you guys did not see or watch our daily free play video, I know they have not emailed about it yet, but Cyber Monday is going on. It's in addition to our Black Friday sales that we've had going already. Black Friday sales are still rolling into Cyber Monday. They were going to pull them down. I knew that there was a couple clients that still did not have an opportunity to take advantage, that asked me, hey, can I take advantage on it on Monday when the bank's open? And I said, I'll see what I can do and do what we can do for you guys. And they're extended, so all the Black Friday sales are still ongoing through Cyber Monday. But don't forget, Cyber Monday, they added a couple. They brought back 2 weeks of my personal plays for $250 for Cyber Monday. That was a good one. That was a hot one when they brought that back as a one-day only sale. So you still have that option. You can still do that. 2 weeks of my personal plays, you get 14 full days for $250. They brought back, actually they just dropped some huge UFC fight package Cyber Monday deals that are absolutely off the hook. You can get a month of our UFC. UFC is normally $75 a month, but you could actually get the UFC for $50 a month. And the cool thing is if you purchase that, it is set up on automatic billing. However, it's super easy to cancel anytime that you want. But if you keep it open and active, you can keep that $50 a month for the life of your account. So you can keep it on $50 a month and save 33% every single month. I mean, heck, just one card is $29.99. And guys, we got 2 huge UFC events coming up that, and plus more every single month that you guys don't want to miss out on. Don't forget, they've got, what did FC put on sale? The year. He took $400 off the year. This is a one-day only sale, guys. I'm going to see if I can get it extended for you guys, but I know he said he just wanted to keep it up there for a year. What was I going to say? $250 for the year. It's $400 off. But then if you add in his max fight picks that he sells for $25, it's that big one. He's won 5 out of the last 6, or no, 5 or 6 straight. I think it's 6 straight guaranteed max fight picks. He's got a package that includes that for $350 on the year, complete, all inclusive, no strings attached. So you got 3 options for the UFC for Cyber Monday. Killer deals. Calvin Reese, up, new to the stream. Before I subscribe, what makes you unique from the other streamers? What makes me unique? First of all, I actually bet the games. 2, I'm a real individual. I'm not using a fictitious identity. 3, we keep it real here. 4, we actually promote user participation in our live chat. 5, I could probably keep going. We actually give out relative real content. Bobby, please no one use the Cowboys as a measuring stick when you go and talk about the Vikings playing the Seahawks. Yeah, there we go. We'll add number 7, best chat on YouTube. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Joshua, for throwing that out there. But yeah, guys, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. As Ryan said, and we take care of you, and we win. There we go. There's number 8. There's number 8, number 9. And number 10, and probably the most important, I'll shoot you straight every single time. But make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. That way you guys get notified every single time we go live. We go live 7 days a week. Win, lose, draw. Sick, healthy, in the hospital, dying on my deathbed. We bring you guys free content 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So hit that subscribe button. What was I going to say? Oh, and tap that little bell. Sorry, guys, I'm out of it today, being sick with an ear infection and a sinus infection. So you got to bear with me. Number 11, best show around, as Ryan just said. Number 12, Joshua says, positive chat. We allow 0 negativity. Fact. LT, I am sick. I am sick, definitely. I'm definitely sick. Ear infection, sinus infection, and Darren Lyons, any way we can text. I text my wife. I text my clients. But feel free to, if you don't already have my cell phone number, feel free to reach out. You can send me an email, kyle@cappersdirect.com. What's up, Ladarius? Thanks for joining us. What's the play in hockey? We got a few plays in hockey today. Let's see if we can go over some NHL as well. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. That way you guys get notified. Also, do us a favor if you could. You know, we always are very appreciative of you guys coming here, and we're dropping the content and the knowledge. If you could do us a huge favor and give us a big thumbs up in the video, let us know you appreciate all the hard work. It definitely helps us get the video trending on YouTube, as we saw yesterday. If you saw yesterday, or if you didn't see yesterday, in our nice little morning time slot, we were actually the #1 trending sports service going live, which was good to see. I didn't believe it until I got a text message saying that we were the had the most views, so that was kind of nice. And I said, I don't believe it. Send me a picture. Send me a picture. And sure enough, we got one. So not bad yesterday. I don't like promoting anybody, but here you go. We were actually the in the morning yesterday on Sunday's show, beating out our other friends live. So that was always fun and good to see. So thank you guys to you for all the hard work and support. Jeff, I'm glad you had fun in Vegas. I'm sorry that I missed you. Sorry, you know, holidays we usually split town. And get out of the big hustle and bustle of Vegas. So it's hard to meet up during the holidays because I'm usually out of town. But yeah, Jeff, 13, if you're a personal client and all kinds of advice on how to be consistent in a winter, best Vegas trip for me. I'm glad you had a great trip to Vegas. I'm glad you enjoyed the Westgate. The book there is absolutely fantastic. It's always a great time. Mark says he went to the Colts game yesterday. So I faded Kyle, and all I had was visions of him shaking his head when that kick got blocked. Anthony, the best customer service in the entire internet by far. Thank you, Anthony. You're all my clients. You, Jeff, Hillbilly, everybody. I mean, I could just name them all. Actually, I couldn't name them all because there's too many of them. But you guys are absolutely the best clients in the industry. And I absolutely love working with you guys. A lot of times in this industry, you know, you get the bad apple as a client, you know, the mean and nasty ones. I got to say, I got some amazing clients. So I don't have one client that's a pest or a pain in the butt with. I think I'm probably the pest or the pain in the butt. So hats off to my clients. I got the best clients in the industry, as well as the best viewership in the industry. You guys are absolutely amazing. We had some tough games yesterday for us. Yesterday, didn't see the Jets getting smashed by Andy Dalton. I mean, everybody knew Andy Dalton was going to come out with a vengeance, but figured the Jets would be able to keep up in a close game as we predicted, and it wasn't close, not one bit, not close to say the least. I didn't get to watch because we were getting the motorhome out of the snow, so. I didn't get to watch and see what happened in the Browns game, which was a big play of ours. So I didn't get to see what happened in that game. I know Baker went out hurt, came back a little bit later in the second half with a glove on his hand. I don't know if that affected him or whatnot. I think he threw a pick at the very end, is from what I was told. But we were getting the motorhome out of the snow, and then headed back to Vegas. Hang on 1 second, guys. All right, we got our email going out. It's a little delayed, but if you get it now... Hold on 1 second. All right. Should have put that Michael Jackson glove on. Yeah, Nick, Jets got spanked. Couldn't do nothing at all. Mark, you want someone to post their parlay that had the Bengals, Redskins, and Bucks money line? Yeah, that would have been a crazy one. It's supposed to be clear, no rain in sight, Joshua. I was just looking not too long ago. That's CenturyLink. We're gonna break down that game here in a minute. But what a weird day in the NFL yesterday. Bears kill the Lions. Lions out of the playoff race now. No, well, we already know that. That was Thursday. But yesterday, Redskins not only covering the spread, but actually beating the Panthers. You guys remember we actually gave you during the live show the Redskins plus 10.5 as well as over 38.5 as big leans. Bengals getting their first win makes it even more of an odd of a day. Dolphins beating the Eagles outright. Steelers with their fourth string quarterback in training camp. He's their official third stringer in the season. Coming out, no Pouncey, no more Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown. They've been long gone. No nobody, no Connor, no nobody, no Juju. Coming out and beating the Browns, the most talented Browns team that they've had in decades. NFL East up in there, yes sir. Patriots failing to do anything until really the fourth quarter. I seen a comment on YouTube on, I forget who made it, but it said it looked like at the very end of the game that Belichick bet the over. Yeah, all of a sudden it's a race to finally. Hold on 1 second. Ryan says, needed the Rams to lose as well for the Bears, but what you going to do exactly? Dolphins, Bucks, Redskins, Bengals, and Texans moneyline parlay would have been nasty. Would have been extreme, man. Would have been extreme. All right, let's, I think we got everything out there that we needed to get out there as far as where the stream is broadcasting. If you're one of the guys that watch us on Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, come join us on YouTube. All you need to do is come to youtube.com. And then in the search bar, just type in Cappers Nation Live or Cappers Direct, and our video will show up. And come over here and come join us live on YouTube. That way you can participate in the live chat. I don't monitor the live feed on Twitter, Periscope, or Facebook. So come join us on YouTube. That way you can participate in the live chat. Live chat's a great deal. Alrighty. Jeff, good morning. Brian, good morning. Robert, if you purchased it this last week, no, sir, don't reorder it. It'll actually, if you bought it last week, you'll get it this week for free, and accounting will actually reactivate everybody's account closer to Saturday. Obviously, before we post the play, you'll have access to it. I don't know what day they're posting it or anything like that. But yeah, no, you'll get it credited to you as well. Welcome, Terrell. If you're watching, sir, thank you for jumping on board my personal plays. It's going to be a good day today. If you guys are on my personal plays, I already sent them out. So if you didn't get them, definitely hit me up. Let me know. That way I could resend out the text message to you. If you are on my personal plays, I do have one early college basketball game that starts here in a little bit. No, D-Rob, we already went over that with the Patriots not winning. But we did recap. We recap it all. Premium plays yesterday. Started out bad, bounced back good. Lost the Jets, the Browns. NBA game was looking like it was going over and took a turn for the worse in the second half. On the Warriors and Magic game, and then we added 2 extra premium plays late, like we said. Chargers Broncos over 37.5. That was a nice winner there. Needed it, as well as Utah and Toronto over 210. That was a nice winner there. And then my personal plays had a rough day yesterday with the Eagles losing to the Dolphins, and then the Browns, but we hammered home Green Bay at the end. So. And then obviously our Sunday play finally dropping one. NHL went 1-1-1, but we had 2 dogs yesterday. We pushed on the total on the over of the Dallas-Minnesota game. We dropped Dallas plus 105, but we hammered home Edmonton plus 125. So that was a nice little winner there. So ended up in the plus column, not by much, some pocket change, but ended up in the positive there as well. So new week, new day, ready to get things rocking and rolling. Time to do some game day breakdowns. Free plays went 10-5 last week. Free plays 10-5 last week. 5-3 on personal and premium plays, which to me, that bottom number, that 5-3, is unacceptable. Should have been 7-1 or 8-0 if you ask me. But I know we can't always get what we want, but I do demand and expect perfection. That's for sure. Yeah, Bobby, every time it's the Browns and the Jets, every time I step out on them, they seem to bite me. Every time we don't, they seem to cover the spread, and they're on my watch list when we're when we're not betting on them, that's for sure. They're usually in that lean category. All right, college hoops today, guys. Not a big slate of games that are able to be bet on today, but there's definitely some good action. You've got some early action today. Excuse me, college hoops. Oops, where we go here? Just getting everything up and running, but you do have early action starting with Canisius and Hofstra here in just a little bit. Hofstra laying 6 against Canisius. UIC and San Diego coming up in at the 5 o'clock Eastern time hour. Oh, and Canisius and Hofstra is at 2 o'clock Eastern time. So, in a little over an hour. Columbia, Delaware starting off the evening games at 7 p.m. Eastern. Miami and Illinois, Lutheran, Northern Iowa. You can bet on High Point, North Florida. North Carolina, Central Wolford, Manhattan, Stony Brook. Not a big slate of games, not any big high-profile games. I'd have to say one of the most high-profile game of the day is going to be the Miami Hurricanes in Illinois. That'll be on ESPN2. And, obviously Clemson and Minnesota later today. That'll be another ESPN2 game. And then as long as you don't have DirecTV, I'd have to say South Dakota and Washington later on today be another big matchup. Other than that, not a big slate of games in college hoops today. Nick says, I'm going to place my bets and walk away. This stuff is stressful. Yeah, absolutely. And there's nothing wrong if you place your bets and if you do your due diligence and you do your research, place your bets. There's no reason why you got to sit in front of a computer screen or a TV and stress yourself out, especially when it comes to college basketball. Unless it's a rout, a blowout, the most important time is that last 5 minutes anyways. Or it could be the most stressful 5 minutes for you. Brian, Brian Watts says, Kyle, is there a site at 10 cappers, 9 on different sides? Yeah, there's probably 5 and 4. No matter where you look, you're going to find them today. You'll find plenty of those today, Mr. Watson. You know it, I know it. They're probably trying to sell you preseason baseball already. Bobby says, my girlfriend hates being around me. She gets stressed out too. Yeah, it's one thing, and it's hard. You got to keep your emotions in check in this industry, and you got to have a short memory. Short memory on emotions, long memory on what's happened in the past on your bets. We'll take a look at that Hofstra game here in a little bit. We'll take a look at that Hofstra game for you. See what we could do for you on that game as well. We'll break it down. We'll break that one down for you. First half total on that one's over and under 73.5. I'm not too sure how I feel on that one. But we'll break it down in its entirety for you in a little bit. All right. Tito, what's going on? Benny says he finally figured out how to get the Patriots to lose. Just bet on them a couple times. Yeah, isn't that funny how that happens? Isn't that funny how that happens? Oh, a couple dimes on them? A couple dimes or a couple times, right? It's one way to get them to lose. All right, what we're going to do, we're going to get comfy here. We're sick. We got some cough syrup rolling. It's almost about time for another dose. Another hour, I could take another dose of that stuff. It's actually some good stuff. Got some Sudafed in it. We'll break down some games for you guys. College hoops action for you. And give me 1 second. Let me reposition some things here. That way we can really get situated. We really get situated. All right, first one we're going to do. We're going to go right down to the marquee matchups for you guys. We're going to do Clemson and Minnesota. All right, and then we're going to jump into Miami and Illinois. And don't worry, at the very end, we'll do the late night chaser breakdown, which will be the South Dakota and Washington game, the 10:30 Eastern time game. All right, we'll do the 10:30 Eastern time game for you guys. I mean, there is Trinity Baptist and Liberty, but you're not going to find the line on that one. And if you do, you got a pretty damn crazy book. All right, first up, Clemson versus Minnesota. pop everything up here on this other screen. Glad to be back. I'm glad to have all my big, powerful computers and screens. Nothing like having to work off of an iPad or iPad Pro, MacBook, and 2 MacBook Pros. So I prefer to work off my iMacs. All right, taking a look at this game, guys. For everybody that doesn't know, it's game 725, 726. Clemson, Minnesota. Minnesota opened up as a 3-point favorite. They're still sitting at 3. Total opened up over and under 131 for you guys. Diving into these two teams. Let's start with the old Golden Gophers first. All right, we're going to start with Minnesota. Richard Pitino's team. They're 3-4 on the year. They don't have the best record looking from the outside. Alex, what's up, Kyle? You sound awful. You okay? I'm okay. I feel awful. I definitely feel awful. Ear infection, sinus infection, and we're getting better. I got antibiotics, or antibiotics, a steroid, and some cough syrup that's got Sudafed, something in it. So hopefully in the next day, hopefully by this time tomorrow, I'm feeling much better. I'm better. I feel better today. I don't sound it. I'm actually really. The ear infection, I think, is the worst part. But other than that, we're getting better, though. Thank you, though, Alex. Appreciate it. Celius Colvin, you need a good pick today. Well, you're lucky, brother. You're in luck. We're going to put you guys on some good leans. If you guys just took our leans the last 2 days on leans from the live show. And keep in mind, I gave you guys a free bet yesterday. Jameis Winston doesn't throw an interception, plus 185. That was a nice one. But overall yesterday, we went 5-3, 6-1 Saturday, 11-4 on leans on the live show Saturday and Sunday. Safe to say we should have just bet our damn leans. We would have been having a killer weekend. All right, back to the Clemson, Minnesota game, guys. We're going to start with the Golden Gophers. Richard Pitino, guys, he doesn't have his team from the outside, looking in, the record-wise 3-4 is not off to a hot start. He opened up the year with a huge 35-point beating over Cleveland State. And yeah, Kong, that happens. Leans are the ones you don't pull the trigger on. Then they came back, and after that, they met up with Oklahoma, Butler, and Utah. And safe to say they ran into some trouble there. Neutral site game against Oklahoma. They lost by 9, 71-62. Butler got them by 8 points, 64-56. And then Utah got them by 4 in a higher scoring game, 73-69. Matthew, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Garrett, good morning. If you guys are new to the YouTube channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you guys get notified every single time we drop a video. Hold on 1 second, folks. Okay, sorry. Excuse me. After Utah, the Golden Gophers bounced back over Central Michigan, beating them 82-57, getting back into their little groove. They took care of easy work over North Dakota, beating them 79-56. And then last Friday they met up with DePaul, and DePaul got the best of them in another close game, beating them by 5. Thank you, JD. Yeah, no, it should definitely help, and I should be feeling much better by tomorrow. But thank you, though. I appreciate it. And here they are. They got Clemson, guys. Clemson on the road this year. Clemson definitely looking much better from the outside looking in than Minnesota. So far, they're 5-2 on the year. They opened up the year with a loss, losing to Virginia Tech by 7 points. They came back in a gimme game. Actually, quite a few gimme games over Presbyterian, Colgate, Detroit, who they beat by 22, Alabama A&M, who they beat by 36, and then they met up with TCU, and they ended up winning in overtime in a neutral site game, tournament game, and they lost 62-60, or excuse me, they won 62-60 against TCU. They actually lost to Colorado in regulation 71-67. And that was on Tuesday the 26th. So they haven't played since the 26th, guys. of November. So they've had, they had 4 or 5, they've had 5 days rest before they come in and face the Golden Gophers. And the Golden Gophers, they're where they play, guys, the Williams Arena. It's not an easy place to play. It does have a 3.6 home court advantage, which makes it one of the tougher. I'd have to say in the top 25% of all Division I schools places to play. It's got the elevated court. If you guys aren't familiar, the Williams Arena holds 14,600 screaming fans. So it's actually the 76th toughest place to play in Division I men's college basketball. So Clemson definitely at a disadvantage walking in there. And with that home court advantage, you're going to give 1.5 to 2 points anyways for the home court advantage for them playing in Minnesota. So the line being at 3, odds makers really have this game, showing Minnesota may be on a neutral site game. This could have been a pick'em, or Minnesota laying a half or even 1 in a neutral site game, which would be a true neutral site game. If this was the other way around, excuse me, if they were playing in South Carolina, it could be the exact opposite. Minnesota catching 3 based on them playing in Clemson and the home court advantage there. But when you're taking a look at the teams side by side, that's where we're going to get a true breakdown of the teams, and you're going to find out that offensive wise, numbers are very similar in a lot of categories. Both of them no slouch on offense, both of them no slouch on defense. I'd have to say, if there's an edge, Minnesota's got the edge on offense, Clemson's got the edge on defense. However, it's not by much. We actually have Minnesota the 90th ranked offense in Division I compared to the Clemson at 119. So not far off on our adjusted efficiency scale. We actually have them only off by 1.8 points, believe it or not. We're going to get to the Hofstra game. As far as defense goes, obviously Clemson, as I said, has the advantage on defense. And again, it's not by much. We've got them on the adjusted efficiency on the defensive scale. The lower the number, the better. Division I average is 99.3. The lower the number, the better when it comes to Minnesota, or to defense, higher on offense. And Clemson comes in at a 91.1, and Minnesota comes in at 93.8. So just a 2.5, just a little over 2.5, 2.7 actually to be specific, point differential on the defensive side of things. So small edge to Clemson on defense, but when you're taking a look at the shooting overall, shooting from the field, Clemson knocking down 52.6, Minnesota knocking down 50.6. Turnover percentage are roughly the same, 17.1 for Clemson to the 19.5 for Minnesota. But that Clemson D's actually been converting much more turnovers, forcing more turnovers when they're on the defensive side of things. Shooting from the 3, out deep, numbers very similar, very identical. 35.1 for Clemson to 35.2% for Minnesota. Taking a look at all the 2 balls, every 2-point play, every jump shot, layup, dunk, you'll find out that, Clemson knocking down 52.6% of all their 2-point plays to the 48.7% for Minnesota. So, a good difference in a number there, right there for you guys. Now, shooting from the free throw. Both teams struggle shooting from the free throw, but none more than Minnesota. All right, Minnesota knocking down just 61%, and that's even 61% even from the free throw line, which is not an acceptable number. They're going to definitely have to pick that up, and I'm sure throughout the course of the year they'll definitely pick that number up. But they're going to be going up against Clemson. Not much better than that. I mean, yeah, a little almost 8%, 68.7% from the free throw line. But again, both of those numbers are actually well below Division I average of 69.6% shooting from the free throw line. Excuse me. Taking a look, more in depth. Taking a look, point distribution. Minnesota relies on that 3 ball a lot. 41.3% of all their points come from out deep, but so does Clemson, 39%. Right, 39%. As far as free throw shooting, they're both not relying on it too much. 12.8 for Minnesota, 15.1% of the time for of all the points scored come from the free throw line for Clemson. Going to the bench, fairly similar numbers. 21.5% of all minutes played are going to come from bench personnel for Minnesota. 27.4% of all minutes played will come from bench personnel from Clemson. And there's some big number differences in the 2 foul participation protocol, which we discuss all the time. And for everybody that doesn't know what this number is it's the percentage of the amount of minutes a head coach is willing to allow his players to play with 2 fouls in the first half and early on into the second half. You'll find a lower number. Keep in mind, Division I average is 21.2%. All right, Minnesota's under that. Clemson is under that at 17.9%. Whereas Minnesota, and this is one of the reasons why their record is sitting where they're at, is they have gotten into early foul trouble. And that number, the 2 foul participation protocol number for Minnesota is at 52.4%. Richard Pitino, guys, he allows his players to play with 2 fouls. Marcus Carr, Gabe Klashler, Peyton Willis, Demore, Arturo. He's allowed those players to play with 2 fouls early on in the games. And as I always tell you guys, that generally creates more and easy scoring opportunities down low for the opposition. And it'll also create more opportunities for rebounds, as well as creating a lot less big defensive plays. You're going to find out, like the big man Daniel Arturo or Demir, they're not going to be swatting at rebounds. They're not going to be swatting at loose balls once they pick up that second foul. Peyton Willis is not going to be jumping in trying to create a loose ball foul or a sloppy third foul and really have to ride the bench. This is one of the reasons why, Minnesota has a low number when it comes to, pulling players from the bench and putting them on the court. They're only, going to the bench for 21.5% of all their playing minutes combined. They don't have as deep of a roster as some teams. They fill their roster. Trey Williams will come in off the bench and go to one of the forward positions, and he'll get 24% of the minutes. And what happens is they just move Peyton Willis over to shooting guard or over to point guard, and they shuffle around their starting 5 quite a bit, and only really move in a couple extra key players. Michael Hurt is one of them. Trey Williams is another, and Javaris Amarisa, he'll get some playing time as a power forward, as well as Javaris, as well as over at the center position. So they really try and shuffle around their starting 5 quite a bit, with the exception of that center position. When Arturo's got to come out, they usually move over. They usually pull Jarvis Amarisa from the bench. So Minnesota's not a team that's going to want to go to the bench often. They don't have a deep bench. And it's the reason why, they've struggled while being in foul trouble so far on the year, and why you find them, with the record that they have of 3-4. They've been in foul trouble early against Oklahoma, Butler, and Utah. And they got to get that in check and get some of those younger personnel off the bench a little bit more, or the starting core 5 are definitely going to have to play a much better defensive sound game and not as loose and sloppy creating fouls. And I've seen some of their games so far, and a lot of it's there were some bad calls in some, but for the most part it's not players' responsibility. So but as far as this game goes, being the matchup, Minnesota laying 3 at home, I have a feeling if the roles were reversed, it would be Clemson laying 3 at home. So very evenly matched team. Give the the home court advantage towards Minnesota. We actually have them winning this game by 3, which would obviously put it as a push. So we have it coming down to a 3-point play at the end. Minnesota winning by 3. But as far as the total goes, the total sitting at 131. We actually have the total on this game very close, actually identical to what it should be at when we broke down the game, taking a look at it. So hold on one second, guys. But we have a play on the total on this game. It's one of our premium plays, so I'm not going to give that one away just yet. but we do have a play on, or we do not have a play on the side of this game, but I do have a lean for you guys. If I was going to be leaning anything, I'm going to lean Minnesota, even though we have them winning by 3. I do lean Minnesota to get the job done, and if I was going to bet it, I'd probably take them on the money line, that personally, but again, it's too close of a game. I'm not going to be betting it personally. I am betting the total on this game because we do have a strong, very, very nice premium play on it. But as far as, being able to take the side, if I was going to do anything, I would lay the juice and take Minnesota on the money line. But again, I don't have a dog in this fight as far as this game goes. Excuse me. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. I'm on the road to recover. We got antibiotics and all that good stuff. Robert, thank you. It says, I'm on late, but love Kyle show. Thank you. I appreciate it. Always appreciate you guys tuning in. Doesn't matter if it's late or after the fact. You guys can always watch the archive version. Remember that, guys. You can always watch the archive version of the show right here on our YouTube channel anytime that you want. We don't ever delete the videos. The live shows will be there with the free picks. So we'll never take those off. So hang on one second, guys. I do need to blow my snaz for you and don't want it to be on the coming across. So hang on one second. I do. Comes with the territory of being sick. But hey, we're working in the right direction. All right, so next game we're going to jump into. We're going to do a couple more breakdowns. We're not going to be live for an extreme long time today. Here's how my schedule goes today. We're going to do some college football or college can't talk today at all. College basketball breakdowns. We just did one for you guys. We're going to be doing another one here in just a little bit. We're going to be doing actually a couple of them. We're going to do this one. We're going to do the Miami and Illinois game next. We've got a couple other ones. Maybe we'll touch base on the Columbia-Delaware game, as well as the Canisius and Hofstra game that goes off in 41 minutes as well. We'll touch on that South Dakota-Washington game, the late-night chaser game. We'll touch all those for you guys, and then we'll move into Monday Night Football. We'll hit a good game day breakdown of Monday Night Football. We'll probably even put you guys on a free play for that one as well. You guys all know we've owned Monday Night Football as of late, so hopefully we'll keep that nice little run that we had going, and we'll get you guys another one. Again, if you're new to the channel, first of all, welcome. We go live 7 days a week. We'll be live again tomorrow, Monday through Friday. We go live noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, breaking down that day's actions. Sometimes we do a little look ahead into the later in the week. And I think we're going to do that either tomorrow or Wednesday. We're going to add in a little special segment. We might do it tomorrow and Wednesday, or Wednesday and Thursday, where one day we just do a quick little rundown of Thursday through Sunday's NFL action. I know I got a frozen screen. I'll fix that right now. Thursday through Sunday's NFL action. We'll take a look at all the division championship games, starting with Friday night's Pac-12 championship between Utah and Oregon. For the first time ever, my USC Trojans win out in their division, or they win all of their division games, the Pac-12 South games, and they don't make the Pac-12 championship. So we're still all hoping. I got mixed feelings about Clay Helton getting fired. I think he just struggles in the recruiting department, but hey, that's a whole nother subject that we can go on. And as of right now, he's still employed by the University of Southern California, so he's still our head coach. All right, so what we're going to do next, we're going to jump into another game day breakdown. Remember, if you guys want a free play, another free play than what we're going to give you in this video, we have another free play already out there in our daily free play video. There's a nice big free play in it for you guys. If you already know what it is, please don't post it in the comment section. That's what watching the video is for everybody to go watch the video, obviously. But if If you haven't already watched that, make sure you go watch that as well. It's going to be a great time there as well. So I'm telling you guys, it's going to be a good week. It's going to be a great week. I know some of our big games over the weekend sucked, to say the least. And, and that happens. That happens from time to time. And unfortunately, they underperformed for us. And it's going to be a big bounce back. I'll be honest. Free plays went 10-5 last week. That's okay. It's an okay number. The free premium and personal plays that we gave you guys, of that 10-5, went 5-3. So they had half the wins, but they also had over half the losses as well. So in my opinion, a little on the low side. Should have been much better. Should have been a better week. And we're going to do our best to make sure that we deliver you guys an even bigger week this year, especially when it comes to free plays. Pro Rock JK, welcome. I'm assuming you got some Dynatrax in your JK. At least with a name like that, I hope you do. What's the free play? But we'll get to the free play. Right now we're doing some college hoops breakdowns. But glad to have you joining us. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Or are you still running Dana 44s, or do you have a Dana 30 and a Sahara edition? Yes, I know my Jeeps. All right, next game day breakdown that we're going to do. We're going to jump right into it. Always like it when I'm hitting the wrong keyboard on the wrong computer. All right, next game day breakdown that we're going to do. Where did it go? Miami of Florida and Illinois. Champaign, Illinois. Illinois off to a hot start, 6-1 on the year so far, early season. Remember, guys, we told you it really takes 7 to 10 games for our college basketball system to really start diving in. We're already up really big on the year in college basketball, and it's just going to get better. But as far as the breakdowns go, the final score predictions, that stuff is going to be even more rock solid as it goes on. Come on, Pro Rock JK, with a name like that. Well, you went 10-5 on free plays last week, so can't say we didn't deliver you guys wins. But yeah, 10-5 on free plays last week. We need more wins so I can get some axles. And you're going to need a lot more wins to get some Dynatrax. I have Dana 60s in my JK. I'm on 60s and 40s. All right, Illinois off to a 6-1 start, guys. But for the most part, they've had quite a few gimme games. Pro Rock JK, I don't have an Instagram. Not on Instagram. My Jeep doesn't have an Instagram. Maybe we should create one. Kyle's Jeep. No, I don't have a Jeep Instagram. All right, guys. Illinois off to a hot start, as we were saying. A lot of gimme games. When they finally met their match, they ended up losing and losing by quite a bit. Take a look. They had a gimme over Nicholas State, and it took them to overtime to beat them. They had a big win over Grand Canyon, gimme game. They did lose to Arizona 90-69. They dismantled Hawaii, Citadel, Hampton, and Lindenwood. Lindenwood you weren't even able to bet on. Am I going to KOH? No, I'm not going to KOH, but I'll be at Easter Jeep Safari. I was there last year. We actually broadcasted live from Easter Jeep Safari every single day, did live shows from Easter Jeep Safari. I do the Rubicon, Moab a couple times a year. I do them all. Taking a look on the other side of the court, the Hurricanes. Aaron, you had an ARB locker on my Z71. Nice. Nice. I got to eat knee lockers. Oh, yeah. Pro Rock JK. Oh, yeah. I wheeled with the people from Dana and Driven Magazine in and Rock Crawler this last Easter Jeep Safari. Did Metal Masher with the Rock Crawler crew, and as well as the Corporate Dana guys. Sorry guys, sometimes this is the best thing about, you guys see the barbershop pole over here, right? That's the best thing about our show, is sometimes we don't just talk sports, it's the barbershop talk of sports betting. So, you'll find out that we do talk about fishing, hunting, guns, life, travel, my Jeep. I take you guys on vacation with me all the time, so when we go on vacation, we were just up in Williams, Arizona, up in the snow, took you guys there. This last week before Easter, we took you guys to Moab. You guys got to see that. Matter of fact, Pro Rock JK, I went live from Hell's Revenge. I actually broadcasted live on Hell's Revenge. Believe it or not, until we lost our signal, we were broadcasting live on Hell's Revenge on the YouTube channel right here. So always a great time. But guys, Miami, Florida got off to a rough start. They lost to Louisville. They lost by 13 in a game. It was a tough game. Tough game for Louisville to start the season on. There was no warm-ups there. And they really didn't get a warm-up season. They started against Florida Atlantic, another Southern Miami team. They beat them 74-60. Then they got Central Florida. They beat by 9, 79-70. They had a gimme over Quinnipiac. They beat them 80-52. They had a close contest with Missouri State, though, on a obviously tournament game, neutral site game where they lost 74-70, and then they ran into Old Florida, all right, in-state rival, Old Florida, and they did not have a good meeting there. Benny, I just resent it. This time I sent it as a screenshot. They lost to Florida 78-58. They got smoked by 20. Usually they play them a little bit better than that. Then again, they came back in the losers bracket against UConn, and UConn, who's turned their program around late in the year last year, took advantage of a depleted Miami, Florida team just 2 days later, and beat Miami of Florida 80-55. So Miami today coming off of 2 straight losses, but they haven't played since the 24th, so they've had plenty of time off. They've had over a week off. Miami rebounding is not so hot yet, and that's exactly where they struggled, Shane, as they struggled on the glass, and we're going to go over that when we break down the numbers here. Aaron, you were in Big Bear yesterday. It's actually, I've actually 4-wheeled up in Big Bear, the John Bull Trail. And I was actually trying to go back before the snow, but that's obviously not going to happen. But my wife has never been to Big Bear, and she's heard me talk so much about it. And all she wants me to go rent a cabin and go up to Big Bear. So I think this winter we're actually going to do a trip up to Big Bear. So if that's in your neck of the woods, Aaron, we may be up there at one point before the winter's over. So she's asked to go up there, and Pro Rock JK I run. Okay, nice. I'd love to. I'm assuming you're from Southern California? That iPhone changing on you. San Diego? Okay, very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Are you headed to KOH as well? Yeah, autocorrect will kill you. I almost bought a 4,500 car last year, believe it or not. It was it's a dream of mine. One day I will. I just don't have the time to be able to do it. I just don't have the time to be able to put into it. Money, that's not a problem. Time is the issue. But I almost bought a 4,500 car last year. Although I did see that it's in Kevin Stern's 4,400 car. I almost bought that. I extensively looked into that. His little GMC looks like a GMC truck. His custom made Aaron Love, Lake Powell, Page, Arizona. Page is beautiful. Page is absolutely amazing. All right. Jamara, 4,400 car. It's Ultra 4 racing is off-road racing where they're racing in off-road vehicles over rock, dirt, mud, mainly a lot more rock than anything. So it's how fast can you go over rocks on a long course. And 4,400 is the unlimited class, going up against teams that'll spend $500,000 on a car. Rich, you're watching on mute. Then I'm going to post it in the comments, but thank you for that free prop bet yesterday. For everybody that doesn't know, Rich gave us all a free prop winner yesterday. It was nice. Jamar, you're killing me, man. You're killing me, Jamar. You're killing me. But yeah, it's you'd be surprised, Jamar. You'd be surprised. You'd have a blast doing it. Strap in and go. I'll probably scare the shit out of you in my Jeep, just rock crawling super, super slow. But yeah, thanks, Rich, for the free prop bet in Carson Wentz over 1.5 touchdowns minus $1.50. I got it at, I think, minus 165 on 5 dimes, but I did bet it. So thank you. Edvin, yeah, we do have a Cyber Monday sale. Pick up 2 weeks of my personal plays for $250. All of our Black Friday sales are still ongoing. They were supposed to end, but I had a handful of guys ask me if they could extend it and purchase on Monday. So I just had asked if the company would extend for Cyber Monday. So yeah, Cyber Monday sales, Black Friday sales, everything is still the same, except they added 2 weeks of my personal plays for $250, and then they also added what was it called? The UFC, a month of UFC at $50, a year at $250. And a year including the year of UFC, including the max fight picks for $350, added as far as Cyber Monday goes. But back to the Miami, Illinois breakdown. We're getting way off topic, so let's at least finish this one first. Edvin, yeah, man, always glad to have you with us. Taking a look at both of these teams, you're going to find out both when you take a look at the offense and defense. Both on the offensive side are very similar numbers, but when it comes to the defense, huge major advantage for Illinois, and we're going to see that here today. All right, guys. We actually have Illinois as the 55th best Division I defense. We also have Miami of Florida ranked 151st with an adjusted efficiency score of 99.3 compared to the 92.8 of Illinois on our system and our stat system. As far as offenses go, we have them very comparable, with Illinois coming in as the 30th best adjusted offense in Division I compared to Miami of Florida. That's 39. And it's the reason why we see the line where we see the line on this game. When you take a look at the line, guys, it'll be the first game on the board when you go to look at college hoops. Game 7-17 and 7-18. You'll find out line opened up Illinois laying 8. They're now laying 8.5. Total opened up at 145.5. It's up a point to 146.5. And this is the reasons why when we read these stats, these are going to be the reasons why Illinois is laying 8.5 right now. All right. Now, as far as shooting from the field, Miami knocking down 50.1%, 53.2% for Illinois. Turning the ball over on the offensive side, a little higher number. With 22.4% compared to 14.5% of the time as well. So for Miami, so a little bit lower number when it comes to turnovers for Miami. When it comes to the 3-ball and the 3-point play, you'll find out Miami knocking down 37.4%, a much higher number as far as it goes for Miami at 37.4% compared to the 31.2% for Illinois. So, excuse me, when it comes to 3-ball shooting, Miami's knocking down more threes. They both defend the 3 right around the same percentage at 32.4%, which is what Miami's holding teams to, compared to the 32.1% that Illinois holds teams to. They are right below the Division I average at defending the three ball at 32%, which is Division I average. When it comes to making all those 2-point plays, every jump shot, layup, dunk, you're going to see a nice big advantage for Illinois. They're knocking down 55.5% compared to the 47.3% of Illinois. When it comes to shooting from the free throw line, Miami has struggled. They're knocking down 67.4%. Division I average is 69.6%. Compared to 71.3% for Illinois. Having the shot blocked when they're on offense, Miami's had their shots blocked 11.5% of the time, and they're actually in the lower category in Division I in this, at the very bottom of the barrel of not getting their shots blocked. It's actually a high percentage compared to 4% for Illinois. They're actually the 10th least. They actually have, how would you word this stat? They're actually number 10 in having their shots not blocked on offense. As far as blocking shots on defense, Miami is one of the absolute worst. They're ranked 330th in Division I compared to right in the middle, 149, 150 for Illinois, who's blocking 9.1% of the opposing shots compared to 4.6 of Miami. All right, taking a look at these two teams, diving in depth just a little bit more. One thing that you're going to find is Miami relies on that three ball for much of their points. 31.6% of all the points they rely on come from out deep. This number for Illinois, very low, 18%. They're actually well below the Division I average. Illinois is going to go down low. They're going to beat you on the glass. And it's one of the reasons why they rely on 60.7% of all their points scored to come from down, to all 2-point plays, every jump shot, layup, and dunk, compared to 56.7% for Miami. Free throws, Miami only relying on 11.7% of all their points scored from the free throw line. And that number would be higher if they were able to convert a little bit more, shooting from the charity stripe. 21.4% for Illinois. They're playing down low. They're playing tough and nitty-gritty basketball. They're going to get on the free throw line a lot more, and so luckily for them, they're hitting 71.3% of all their free throws. They're actually above the Division I average, not by much, by a little, almost 2% at 69.6%, which is Division I average. Going to the bench, both go to the bench for similar amount of percentage of minutes played, 27.4% for Illinois, 31.6% for Miami. Two-foul participation protocol in these two is pretty much null and void. Illinois is in its 2.4% of the time compared to 10% for Miami. Both teams have no problem going to the bench and putting more players in key roles. None other than, for the most part, Illinois has got a couple of key floaters. Desamunu, however you pronounce his name, will float around from shooting guard to point guard. And then Alan Griffin will come in, Kipper Nichols will come in off the bench as well and get some good playing time. Heck, Nichols averages 31% of the minutes played at power forward, and he splits that with Giorgio, and I'm not even going to try pronouncing this kid's last name, the 6'9" sophomore. And don't forget Illinois with their big 7-foot senior Kofi Cockburn. Definitely, a big team. But don't forget Miami's got Rodney Miller as well, a 7-foot senior. 7-foot junior sitting at center, as well as their 6'10" power forward in Waterberg. So both teams, when it comes to, being of the taller team, both teams very similar. Not much of an advantage one way or another for both teams. These are both big teams. Both teams have, roughly a half a year of experience, a little bit more for Miami, not much more. Taking a look at, the starting five for Miami, and you're going to find out, they're very experienced. 4 juniors and a senior starting for Miami. All right, 4 juniors and a senior starting for Miami. And then you take a look over at Illinois again. What do they got? 2 sophomores, a junior, a senior, and then what's his name? The big kid, Kofi Cockburn, is the only freshman. This kid's 7 foot, 290 pounds. So not only is he tall, but he's got the weight as well. So he's a very hard kid to move around. And so far, he's got just a couple games underneath his belt so far, and in his first game in Division I basketball, being a freshman, he played 32 minutes. He put 10 points on the board. He was never in foul trouble. The only game that he was ever in foul trouble was really against Grand Canyon, and he was in foul trouble early, and that's why he logged only 21 points. All right, he only logged 21 minutes in that game. He had 21 minutes, however, he put up 23 points on the board. All right, but he was playing tough, nitty basketball. He picked up 2 fouls early, as well as 4 overall, so he had plenty of minutes on the bench in that game. But, this is a kid that they like to get out there for at least 25 minutes a game. He was the MVP in their win over Hampton, where they beat him 120-71. He put up 25 minutes there as well as 20 points. So this is a kid, big, lengthy, heavy freshman down at center with not much experience that's going to log some key minutes against Miami. And, he's 3 blocks in his last game. So, so far on the year out of, how many games have they played? 7 games, he's got, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks. So, as well as 2, 3, 12, 13, 14, 18, 21 takeaways. So, and a lot of defensive rebounds. Hell, against Citadel and Hawaii a piece, this kid put up 11 rebounds. I like this kid. He's got a bright future there in Illinois, and he's going to be hard to play against. No, Stat Quap, we haven't done the Hofstra game yet. We're going to do that one next. But as far as this game goes, I do not have a play on this game. However, I do lean Illinois. I do lean Illinois on this game. I think our system still has a lot to work off with. I think it's going to be a fairly close game. I personally think Illinois will probably win by 12 to 13-ish right there. I think the line's off quite a bit. I don't think they're giving Illinois that much credit. But, they really haven't played excuse me, too much tough competition outside of Arizona, who they lost to. So not to say that, Miami's going to give them tough competition today. Home court advantage, State Farm Center, not much. I mean, it's a big, holds 15,544 screaming fans. So it's one of the larger, it's actually the 22nd largest stadium for Division I basketball, but home court ranking puts them right in the middle at a 3.1. So I think that's 188th as far as advantage goes from having a home court advantage. So not much of a home court advantage for the Fighting Illini there in Illinois and Brad Underwood's squad. So, but I do lean towards Illinois laying the 8.5 here. Again, I don't have $1 on that game. Don't have $1 on that game. All right, we're going to jump right into the next one because I know it starts in 16 minutes. And a few of you have already asked me about this game, what we thought on this game. So we're going to break down the Canisius and Hofstra game next for you guys. All right, we're going to do that one next for you guys. All right, coming right up, Canisius and Hofstra. Let's dive right into the line on this game. Take a look right where the odds are. Opened up, Hofstra laying 6.5. It's down to 6, although the Westgate just literally bumped it to 5.5. Everywhere else seems to be 6. Total opened up at 155. It's sitting at 156 right now, and we're going to dive right into it. I'll tell you what 5 Dimes has as well. On this one. StatQuap, where are you leaning on this one? Maybe we'll end up on the same page. Hofstra on 5 Dimes is still -6, minus $1.10. Total over and under 155. Shane thinks Hofstra's given up too many points. Mark says DraftKings is -6. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Taking a look at both of these two teams real quick. We're going to do the quick rundown. Hofstra 5-3 on the year. Guys, the Hofstra Pride out of Hempstead, New York. All right, they get Canisius on a neutral site game today. All right, for everybody that doesn't know, this is a neutral site game. This is at the FAU Arena, guys, Boca Raton, Florida. For everybody that doesn't know, so there, now you know. They're 5-3 on the year. They lost to San Jose State to start the year by 8 at home. They came back. They beat Monmouth by 20. Bucknell, they lost to by 15, 86-71. They had a huge win over UCLA. UCLA was rolling hot until they met Hofstra and beat them by 10, if you guys remember that correctly. We were on the opposite side of that game. They came back. They beat Cal State Fullerton just a couple days later, 79-57. And they ended up losing to San Diego last Wednesday, the 27th, 79-69. San Diego put them in check. They came back, bounced back big against Holy Cross, and here they get Canisius. All right, here we get Canisius, and stack up. Do I like the under first half? I don't really like anything on the first half as far as over and under goes, but as far as the total goes. But if I was going to lean one way or another, I would lean the over, and that's just based on what our final score prediction has. But you never know. It may go under first half. I don't have a play on the first half on this game at all, or on the total whatsoever. But I could tell you this much. We actually have a final score prediction of 152 points scored in this game. 156 points scored in this game. As far as Canisius goes, 4-2 on the year. The first two games were their 2 losses. They're riding a 4-game win streak. They lost to Brown and Albany. They came back. They beat Bucknell. They beat St. Bonaventure. They beat UIC, University of Illinois Chicago, and they just beat up Mercer by 10 on a neutral site game. They get Hofstra today, and Reggie Witherspoon. He's got his Golden Griffins, guys. Another upstate New York team from Buffalo, guys. As far as his team goes, this is going to be a good test for them. If they were playing at home, there'd be no home court advantage. Playing neutral site game there, even that, definitely no advantage one way or another. Playing at the Boca Raton for either one of these programs. Taking a look at their offenses, you're going to find out that both have similar defenses that suck. Okay, both have defenses that are in the bottom third of the Division I averages. However, one has an offense that is much more superior than the other, and that's Hofstra. When it comes to not only just shooting but overall, and you're going to see it in these numbers. Canisius, they do knock down 52.7% of the field from the field, which is actually higher by over a point than Hofstra, which only knocks down 51.6%. Both of these teams well above the Division I average. Turnover percentage, Canisius has actually struggled turning the ball over early in some of their games. Matthew, you're very welcome. Yeah, we had some good prop bets yesterday, and the plus 185 was nice, that was for sure. Canisius, one thing that they excel at is offensive rebounds, and they're going to look to attack the offensive glass against Hofstra when they don't convert, and they convert pretty often. They're knocking down 33.6% of all their three-point plays compared to the 36.4% of Hofstra. So both numbers very similar. Hofstra knocking down just a few more as well. Dr. Franco, we love the Yard House. We love the Yard House. It's a great restaurant. As far as two-point plays, Canisius, the better shooting team, knocking down 53.8% of all their two-point plays, every jump shot, layup, and dunk, compared to the 49.8% for Hofstra, who is actually, they're a percent over Division I average. Now, shooting from the free throw line, the charity stripe, Hofstra's got the edge, knocking down 79% of all their free throw attempts. They're actually 13th so far in the early season, compared to 70.6% for Canisius. Taking a look at point distribution, both numbers are fairly similar. However, Hofstra gets more in the free throw category, and that's where you're going to see the difference. But as far as three-ball shooting, 29.3% of all points made for Hofstra come from out deep, all three-point plays, to 26.7% of the points scored for Canisius. Two-point plays, much higher number for Canisius at 54.2% of all points, compared to 47.2% for Canisius. When it comes to shooting from the line, the free throw line, 23.4% of all points scored for Hofstra will come from the free throw line. and they rely on that. They rely on getting down low, picking up fouls, and converting from the free throw line. Canisius, 19.1%. Minutes played. Canisius, the much deeper team. They go to the bench for 30.5% of all minutes played compared to 15.3% for Hofstra. Hofstra is not a deep team one bit, and if they get in foul trouble, they will struggle, and that's one of the reasons why they struggled against University of San Diego, as well as Bucknell and San Jose State, was foul trouble. They do not have a deep bench. They rely on their key starting seniors, or not seniors, starting starters, excuse me, their key starters, which actually has 3 seniors on it. Both Bowie, Pemberton, and Coburn are all, they're 3 seniors that are starting. They've got 3 seniors and a junior, so they have the experience there. But they don't have the size down low. I mean, Isaac Canty's 6'7". That's their big man. All right, 6'7" senior. He's got a 3-inch disadvantage to the center, Jacob Fritz, for Canisius that we're going to see. Canisius is a much deeper team. They have no problem coming to the bench. Heck, they'll put Majesty Brandon, move him over from shooting guard to point guard, and they'll bring in Henderson Ahmed from the bench and move them up into the shooting guard position. They could also play Jordan Henderson, who's usually their starting one of their starting forwards. He can move and play multiple positions. And Jacob Fritz, sometimes he starts as a power forward. Sometimes he starts in the center position, based on what the opposition's going to be going up against. Don't forget they got Jelani White, another 6'8" junior. Very well depth rotated team in Canisius. They can go to the bench, and they've got plenty of big men to pull from that have plenty of experience with the team, and they get some decent playing time. Heck, even Sam Roshan's 6'4" sophomore for Canisius gets 10% of the playing time over at strong forward, so he does get a couple minutes here and there. So they move the playing field and the ball around pretty well. As far as the side on this game, I do have a personal play on the side of this game for my personal play clients that has already been sent out to everybody. As far as the total goes, I lean towards the over. I lean towards the over on this one, not the under on this one. So I could be completely wrong, but I do think it's going to be on the higher scoring game. I think there'll be a lot of points scored. As far as who's going to score more and cover the spread, that one's going to be a mystery for you guys. Skip, as far as liking the side, I do have a personal play on this one, but as far as the total, I do like the over 155.5, and I could be completely wrong on this one, but I don't think I am. I really don't think I am. So, but I don't think it's going to go over by a country mile. I think it's going to come down to free throws at the end and who's putting them. So if a team doesn't convert their free throws, or if Hofstra has a bad free throw shooting day, the game could go under. Same thing with your first half under. Same thing with your first half under. As far as 2-foul participation protocol and how often they're in it, Hofstra's not a team that's going to get in foul trouble. They're just not going to get in foul trouble. 18.6% for Canisius. Foul trouble for Hofstra, 0.1%, 0.1%. So height advantage, there's almost an inch height advantage for Canisius. Experience level, I'm going to give to Hofstra and their big seniors. But going to the deeper bench, that's Canisius. Where Canisius can beat them is on the bench. So unless, especially if Hofstra picks up some early fouls. Skip says he likes Hofstra in this one. Nice. So no matter where you guys are betting the over and the under, I wish everybody the best of luck. I don't have a play on the under. So if you guys are Stat Guap and everybody else that likes the under, if you guys are betting the under, I will definitely root for you guys on that one, because I got no dog in the fight as far as the under goes. See, Ryan, we speak and the line goes up a half a point. No, I'm just kidding. Just teasing. Just trying to toot our own horn. Although we have moved quite a few lines on our free plays that we put out. That's a fact. That is a fact.
I'll take care of you one way or another.
So it's going to be a great time. Next game. Any requests as far as college basketball goes? We'll break down another game. Kong, you got Hofstra winning this game by 10 plus. I like it. I like it. I like to see when you guys interact and post up what you guys think as well. It's always great to see that. And Kong, you were actually right, spot on about a couple other games as well. Last week, if you remember correctly, you were spot on a couple games that we were rooting for you. That I didn't have a dog in that fight. Kansas State and Florida A&M. We could do that, Skip. Shane, we're gonna do the Washington game. That's gonna be the late night chaser special. All right, that's gonna be the late night chaser special breakdown that we'll do. That'll be the last college basketball game that we touch tonight. The South Dakota and Washington game. We'll do that one here in a little bit. Robert, no, we have not touched the NFL game. Mark, I'm gonna try and do some NBA if we have time. If my voice and everything holds out, we'll jump into some NBA. I know we need to do some more NBA and some more NHL. We've had a lot of requests for NHL as well, and it's one thing that we haven't touched just yet. Holy Cross with the upset over Mercer, beating them 81-67 this morning. But yeah, Robert, no, we are definitely touching NFL. That's going to be the highlight of the day. And that one is going to be at the very end of, not the end, but more towards the end. But we'll do the Florida A&M and Kansas State one right now. All right, we'll jump right into that one right now for you guys. Don't forget, guys, Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals going on now. Pick up 2 weeks of my personal plays, $250. You guys can still get 3 days of premium plays, 3 days of my personal plays, $99. But better than that, the 2 weeks for $250 is a smoking deal. K-State coming in for a gimme game. K-State coming in for a gimme game, huh? All right, guys. Kansas State laying 24. So we're going to make this one short and sweet, all right? This breakdown is going to be a short and sweet breakdown for you guys. Florida A&M hasn't won all year. Kansas State laying 24. Total over and under. Opened up at 125, excuse me. It's down 2 points to 123. They've got a 4-2 Kansas State team that opened up the year 4-0. They beat North Dakota State. It took overtime, but they beat UNLV here at the Thomas and Mack Center, which was very disappointing for us Running Rebel fans. They beat Monmouth by 19. They actually struggled, and they only beat Arkansas Pine Bluff by 11, 62-51. And then they lost on neutral site games both to Pittsburgh, 63-59 in a close game there, and Bradley, who they got torched by 13, losing 73-60. Now, let's take a look at Florida A&M. There's not much to talk about them other than losing, and poor shooting. All right, they lost to USC 77-48 to my Trojans. They lost to Hawaii by 13. They lost to Pacific by 22. They had a close battle against South Dakota. They barely lost 85-82 on a neutral site game. And then they just got torched by 36 by Seton Hall, 87-51 on the road last Saturday. All right, not this Saturday, a week ago Saturday. Week and a half ago Saturday, all right? Saturday the 23rd. So they've actually had 9 days off, almost a full 10 days off to rest, recover, and get ready for their road game against Kansas State. And Robert McCullum, he's got his Rattlers struggling, and they're off to a depressing 0-5 for the Tallahassee, Florida team, guys. And it's not going to get any easier when they face the Wildcats today, who are a 24-point favorite. All right, just taking a look at this, Kansas State's a 24-point favorite, and let's be honest, their offense sucks. All right, Kansas State's offense sucks. However, their defense, top notch. Believe it or not, we actually have them as the 15th best defense in all of Division I. But their offense, they're in the bottom 2/3 of the category of offense goes. But Florida A&M at the near bottom. All right, guys, at the near bottom, coming in 345th. Shooting from the field, Florida A&M struggling 38.1%. All right, Kansas State still not the best shooting team. They're actually 3.1% below the Division I average themselves at 46%. Both turn over the ball over 20% of the time. Fairly decent teams, offensive rebounding, right? I mean, middle of the pack when it comes to that. Shooting all their 3-point plays. Florida A&M has struggled. They're knocking down only 24.2% from out deep. However, Kansas State has not much higher than that at 28.3%. Every 2-point play, every jump shot, layup, and dunk. Florida A&M is only hitting 38.6%. It's one of the reasons why they're getting blown out. All right, one of the reasons why they're getting blown out. Kansas State knocking down 47.9%. Shooting from the free throw line, both in the low 60s, 60% even for Florida A&M, and 61.8 for Kansas State. Excuse me. 2 foul participation protocol. Florida A&M's been in foul trouble every single game, early and often. They're in it for 65.9% of the time. They only go to the bench for 28.3% of the minutes. So their starting 5 get plenty of playing time, and they put themselves in horrible positions with being in foul trouble early and then having to ride the bench. All right, Kansas State in it just 0.6% of the time. They go to the bench 33.7%. So a fairly deep bench for K-State, guys. Obviously, K-State's the more well-rounded team, but laying 24 points in this position, you got to take a look at some of their wins. They beat North Dakota State. They beat them by 13. It took overtime for them to beat UNLV by 4. They beat up Monmouth by 19, and they beat Arkansas Pine Bluff by 11. All right, Arkansas Pine Bluff, they're a 1-5 program. They just picked up their first win over Champion Christian Community College a week ago Monday. All right, and you take a look at Arkansas Pine Bluff, and the reason why I talk about them against Kansas State is that was their gimme game, and they barely beat them. They lost to South Florida by 29. They lost to Gonzaga by 50. They lost to Grand Canyon by 13. They only lost to Kansas State by 11. All right, then they lost to Pittsburgh by 25. So Kansas State in this situation, laying 24. Yes, they're at home. All right, yes, Kansas State is at home. Yes, Bruce Weber, guys, his Wildcats, when they play in the Bromwich Coliseum, it is a home court advantage place for them. They get a high score of 4.1% on the home court advantage, which actually makes it the 15th toughest place to play. It's not the largest; it's only the 48th largest at 12,528 fans, but it's actually the 15th toughest place to play in all of Division I average. So I'd give them a 3-4 point, home court advantage here just for that aspect. But to make K-State lay 24 points, I think it's tough, especially considering, they struggled to put away Arkansas Pine Bluff. But when you take a look at Arkansas Pine Bluff and you look at what they shoot, Arkansas Pine Bluff is a very poor shooting team, very similar to Florida A&M. They hit 40.7% from the field. They hit 25% of all their 3-point plays. They're knocking down, or they're turning over the ball 27.5% of the time. They hit only 41.8% of all their 2-point plays, every jump shot, layup, and dunk. They're hitting only 60% from the free throw line. So as far as this, I can compare Arkansas Pine Bluff being to the same caliber of team as Florida A&M. So as far as these two teams go, I'm going to put out a bold prediction here. Kansas State wins. Kansas State wins because of their defense. They're not going to win the game because of their offense. Their offense is trash this year. They have the 193rd best adjusted efficiency as far as offense goes. They don't win the game because of their offense. They win their game because of their 15th best ranked Division One, ranked 15th in Division One in defense in that category. Holding teams to poor shooting. They're holding teams to 29.9% shooting from the 3-point range. They're holding teams to 47.7% for all their 2-point plays. They're actually stealing the ball 14.8% of the time. So Kansas State's defense wins them the game. However, as far as actually laying the 24 or taking the 24, I'm gonna go out and say a bold prediction, and I'm gonna say that Florida A&M covers the 24 today. They've had some big blowout losses. They lost by 29 to USC. USC is a much better program than Kansas State when it comes to basketball this year. They lost to 13 to Hawaii. They lost by 22 to Pacific. That's the only one that scares me. That was on a neutral site court too. They lost by 3 to South Dakota, and they lost by 36 to Seton Hall. But give me Seton Hall versus Kansas State, and I'll take Seton Hall every single time. So big lean on this one, and I could be completely wrong. This could be a nice big bounce back situation for Kansas State, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a blowout. Do they win? Yeah. Do they blow them out? Yeah, but I don't think they cover the spread. So it's not Kansas State's not a Duke, Louisville, Virginia, hell, even Michigan, who doesn't play a full 40 minutes. So there's my breakdown on that one. And it's going to be a good time. So, all right, next breakdown. Garrett says, I'm a Kansas State alumni. It's been tough to watch. Their offense this year has struggled early. They will pick it up here in a few games. Honestly, wouldn't bet it. Yeah, if I was going to bet it at all, I would bet the Florida A&M. Darren, we'll get to the NFL here in a little here shortly in a little bit. Any other special requests besides Washington? Because Washington will be our late night chaser breakdown. Any other request? Any other requests when it comes to college basketball for today? If not, I'll pick one, and then we can do the late night chaser. All right, no requests, so we'll move right into Furman. There we go. There's one. Where are they at? Furman in South Florida. We could do that. We could do that one. It's actually a good one to break down. There we go. Thank you, Mr. Watson. Excuse me. Hofstra out to a 3-point lead, 10-7 in the first 5 minutes. All right, we're going to do the Furman and South Florida game. Thank you, Mark, for the game number 719 and 720. Furman opened up as a 3-point favorite. They're now laying 4 against South Florida. Total opened up at 132. It's down to 131. We're going to take a look at both of these two teams. You got 7-1, the Palladians from Furman guys, going up against 3-4 South Florida, the Bulls guys who are riding a 2-game losing streak. And we're going to dive into both of these two teams. And then after this one, we'll do our late night. Chaser special. All right, moving into the Furman versus South Florida breakdown. You know, I almost did the Delaware, but the request for Furman came in first. All right, guys, let's take a look at South Florida. 3-4 on the year. Opened up the year against a gimme game against Arkansas Pine Bluff, who we actually just compared a lot to Florida A&M. They beat them 70-41 in a gimme game there. They came back. They lost against Boston College in their second game of the year at home. Matter of fact, they opened up the year with 4 straight games at home, and they went 2-2. They lost to Boston College by 14. Then they lost by 17. The Indiana University, Purdue, and then they lost to Wolford they beat Wolford at home 69-55 to bring their home record to 2-2 to start the year. And then they went November 25th, if you guys remember Thanksgiving tourneys, and went on the road. Neutral site games. They beat Loyola Chicago by 11, 66-55, and then they just lost to New Mexico State. A week ago, Tuesday, 65-45. They lost by 20 to New Mexico State. They also lost to Nebraska by almost 30. They lost by 27 points. To Nebraska. And Brian Gregory's, he's got his Bulls looking for a big turnaround. He's gonna have a tough battle today against Furman. He's got Dartmouth next, Drexel before he faces some competition against Utah State and then Florida State. Both games that our system has him as losing. So he's got a couple games after the game in Furman. The Furman game should be a close game. But Furman guys, they're off to a hot start. They're 7-1 on the year. Bob Ritchie, he's got his Palladians off to a quick and hot start. They beat up Gardner-Webb to start the year, 70-63 on the road. They came back for a home game. They beat Loyola Chicago 87-63, which obviously is a team that South Florida beat. South Florida beat them by 10. And Furman beat them by 24 points, all right? They beat up Charleston Southern 91-47. They had a gimme game, a non-bettable game against Southern Wesleyan College that they beat by 22. They came back. They were on the road. They had a tough game against Alabama. They lost by 81-73 in a high-scoring game. They came back in another gimme game against Columbia International, who they actually doubled Columbia International's score. Columbia International beat them by 45. Poor kids got beat 90-45. They beat up Elon 97-61. And they just got UTSA, University of Texas, Arlington, and they beat them on a neutral site game in a close game. They beat them by 1, 58-71, if you guys saw that game. Now they get South Florida, and it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. There's some, where South Florida struggles is on offense, and we're going to go over that, and you're going to see why they have the 238th, I guess we can call it worst defense. That they're actually ranked 238th best as far as on offense compared to the 55 of Furman. All right, Furman has the advantage on offense and defense as well. They have the 79th best ranked defense. However, South Florida's defense is held strong, and we've got them ranked 93rd in that category as well. Category. And you're going to see, guys, Furman knocking out is the much more efficient shooting team in every category, from 3-point shooting, from shooting from the field, every 2-point play, converting their free throws from the charity stripe, even on defense. And you'll see it all the way down. But there is a stat that definitely puts South Florida in an advantage and a chance to have a nice big offensive game for them. Hi, Don. Thanks for joining us, as well as everybody that's joining us today. Thank you all for joining us. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. That way you guys get notified every single time we go live. You guys want to be notified when we go live. All right, you'll be notified. So hit that subscribe button right down below. Tap that little bell next to it. That way you get notified each and every single time we drop a video. It doesn't matter if it's a free play video or if it's a live show like this. You'll be notified. We go live 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We bring you guys free content all the time, bringing you guys the best content out there. Actually, what I hope is the best content out there. To help you guys and improve your sports betting and be more successful when it comes to betting on sports. All right, there's a lot of choices out there for you guys to watch. A lot of services or YouTube channels, or they'll have multiple different personalities on there giving you guys both sides of the game 10 different ways. All right, which is just going to lead confusion. I actually bet every single game that I give you guys. Now leans, which I'm very specific on. Some leans I bet, some I don't. For instance, yesterday I told you I leaned towards Jameis Winston throwing no interceptions as a nice prop bet at plus 185 against a depleted Jaguars defense, and we hit that one. And I even specified this one I'm going to bet. This one I'm going to bet, and we did bet it. All right, we did bet that game. So I mean, obviously, I'm not going to put a big chunk on a prop bet lean, whereas I might I'll have $3,000 to $5,000 on a game. As far as a little prop bet lean, I might put $200 or $300 on it just for shits and giggles, because it's a lean, and to me that's what it's worth. But to you guys, it may only be worth putting $10 or $20 on. So and to prove that I do bet small little prop bets and put our money where our mouth is. We actually bet every game. Every game that I tell you I'm betting, I bet. And here it is. Here's some little prop bets right there. The top one was mine. Jameis Winston throws no interception, plus 185. The bottom one was from one of our viewers, Rich Aris. Thank you, sir. Thanks for that nice winner. Thanks for that nice winner yesterday. So if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. You're going to be able to deal with people that actually bet for a living. All right. So hit that subscribe button. And if you appreciate all the hard work, give us a big thumbs up. All right. We're going to get back to the Furman, South Florida game. Florida, South Furman, guys. When you're taking a look at the numbers, absolutely big D-Mall. We went over that 1.5 quick and easy before the first half. Randy, when you're handicap college basketball, are there any conferences that you prefer? Non-denominational for me. I do them all. I do them all. No, this is not a neutral site game. South Florida is the home team. South Florida, they're playing in their Youngling Center. They're the home team, home court advantage with a 3.0 score, which gives them no advantage. NFL is coming up next. We're going to do one more after this, and then we're going to jump into the NFL. So if you're waiting for the NFL, guys, it's coming up very, very shortly. All right, you're going to find out Furman, they're knocking down 55% from the field compared to 47.2% for South Florida. South Florida turning over the ball nearly 8% more than what Furman does. Furman is on the 16.5% side compared to the 24.2% of South Florida. South Florida has struggled turning over the ball. That's why Brian Gregory and his squad are sitting with a 3-4 record, okay? As far as knocking down the three ball, both middle of the pack when it comes to knocking down the three ball. 34.6% for Furman, which is 1.6% above the Division I average, and 32.3% for South Florida. So they're just below the Division I average come from shooting from the three ball. Now, 2-point plays is where Furman excels. All those jump shots, layups, and dunks are knocking down 57.9% of all their 2-point plays compared to 46.4% for good old South Florida here, all right? Now, shooting from the free throw line, South Florida is a team that absolutely is horrendous, and they've struggled shooting from the free throw line. They're knocking down just 57.8% from the charity stripe compared to 77.2% for Furman. Right, for Furman. It's one thing that they're going to be struggling at. Now, going to the bench, they both go to the bench for, fairly similar numbers. 21% of all minutes played will come from the bench for Furman, 31.4% for South Florida. When it comes to, height advantage, South Florida definitely has the height advantage as far as players and personnel go. I mean, they got that big sophomore Michael Durr, the 7-foot sophomore, sitting at center. Their power forward, not the biggest kid, Justin Brown. He's only 6'6", that junior, but he'll split time with Rasheem Williams, the 6'6" sophomore. And that's just going to go to show you, their 6'1" point guard, Radia, as well as their 6'3" sophomore shooting guard Dawson. These kids on average, they've got over an inch average over what you're going to find from, Furman. Where Furman lacks in size, they lack in talent when it comes to being compared to South Florida. Jalen Slauson, their center, he's only 6'7" sophomore. They do have Noah Gruley, who they can move in, who splits time, as a, power forward or, center. He's a tad, an inch bigger. But heck, just they're both their guards are 5'11". Jordan Lyons and Alex Hunter, junior and senior, both, under 6 foot. So where they're disadvantaged on size, they make up in speed and talent. That's for sure. When you're trying to match up with both of these two teams and compare them to each other. Now, 2-foul participation protocol. Furman finds themselves in it 32.9% of the time compared to the 2% for South Florida. South Florida has not found themselves putting themselves in major foul trouble. But when they do, if you create, or not create, but if you pick up that second foul early in the first half or even late in the first half, you're going to be sitting the bench. Brian Gregory does not play around with that number. His philosophy is very, very set and solid. If you pick up that second foul, it doesn't matter if you're Justin Brown or David Collins, you're going to be riding the bench. If it's Michael Durr, their big man, sorry, Michael, you're gonna ride the bench. You're gonna move in Maverick and put him right in there and replace you, and you're gonna sit until probably 4 or 5 minutes into the third. Possibly he might, or not third, but second half. Possibly he might allow you to play the start of the second half. Possibly, usually not. But on the flip side, Furman, Bob Ritchie, he's trusted his kids. He's trusted the likes of Jalen Slauson, Clay Mouse, Bothwell to not put them, or Alex Hunter, Jordan Lyons, to not put themselves in major foul trouble. Once they pick up that second foul, he's allowed them to play, for up to just under 33% of the remaining minutes. And for everybody that doesn't know, doesn't understand that number. So let's just say there's 10 minutes left in the first half, and Jordan Lyons of Furman, the 5'11" point guard, he picks up his second foul, and there's 10 minutes left in the second half. 10 minutes left in the first half. What that means to you guys is that means Bob Ritchie, who's the head coach of Furman, guys, he's going to allow Lyons to play for up to 33% of the remaining minutes available. So if there's 10 minutes left in the first half, he's going to play for at least 3 of those before he pulls them out, or he may put them in, the last 3 minutes and hope that, and it's a basic hope and pray situation that, Lyons doesn't go out there, or any of these kids, Gruley, Bothwell, Mounts, Slauson, that they don't go out and pick up their third foul. All right. But what that means to you is if one of these kids from Furman, or multiple kids from Furman, pick up their second foul quick and early in the first half, it will create plenty of opportunity for South Florida to drive down low and create more scoring opportunities. Because I promise you, that if it's one of the big men for Furman, who are not big anyways, Jalen Slauson or Clay Mounts, they're not going to be swatting at balls. They're not going to be going after loose balls as often or as reckless as they normally would, because they don't want to pick up that third foul and let it be a sloppy loose ball foul. Or battling for a rebound. So it's going to create more opportunities, for them to open up defense and allow more lanes to the glass for South Florida to take advantage of by, Bob Ritchie leaving his players in with the 2 fouls. So that advantage, I definitely always side towards the other side when a coach will allow his players to play with 2 fouls. So I definitely lean towards South Florida on that side. But as far as the game goes, with the line being where it's at, Furman laying 4. I think Furman's the more superior team here. I think they're, believe it or not, where they lack in size. I think these kids, Jordan Lyons, Grewley, Bothwell, Mounts, Slauson, Alex Hunter, I think they make up for talent. All right, I think they make up for talent and heart, which goes a long way. As far as these two teams go, I definitely lean towards Furman in this contest. And if I was going to bet it, which I don't have $1 on it, but if I was, it would be Furman laying the 4. All right, it would be Furman laying the 4. So there's that one. We're going to do one more college hoops game, guys, for you. And then right after that, we're going to jump right into the NFL segment for you guys. All right, we've already been live for quite some time, a little over 2 hours already. We've already broken down the Minnesota game, Illinois game, Canisius Hofstra, Florida A&M game, and the Furman game. So we're already flying through breakdowns, and we're going to do one more for you guys, which was highly requested, and it's actually the late game on the board for college basketball. So we're going to make this our late night chaser breakdown for you guys between South Dakota and Washington. That game is coming right up. We're going to do that one now. That one's at 10:30 Eastern time game. It'll be televised on the Pac-12 network if you get the Pac-12 network. Washington is the home team. We'll be playing in Alaska Airlines Arena, which actually has a 3.7 rank for home court advantage, which makes it the 68th toughest facility to play in all of Division I. It's not the biggest. It's only the 106th biggest at 9,268 screaming fans in the Alaska Airlines Arena. And we're going to break down that one here in just a second, guys. But first of all, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I know I emphasize that a lot. The bigger we build this channel, the more things that we have coming to you guys. I was hoping we have a big change coming to our website, and it's going to benefit all of you guys. And one thing, I was actually hoping it would be up before Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, some coding issues getting it to all work together did not work, so they're still working on it, and hopefully it'll be done before the end of the weekend, because I'd love to be able to bring you guys that. Don't forget, Cyber Monday sale, Black Friday sale still ongoing. They brought back 2 weeks of my personal plates for $250. Feel free to jump on board that. I look forward to working with everybody that does. Or 3 days of our premium plays, $99. 3 days of my personal plays, $99. But I'll be honest with you, if you're going to buy 3 days for $99, you're much better buying the $250 for 2 weeks. It's a much better deal, especially for a Cyber Monday deal. And yeah, and as Tito said, we always appreciate when you guys do hit the thumbs up button. It helps us get trending in YouTube and the algorithm. As we saw yesterday, we were actually the #1 trending sports betting show on YouTube yesterday. That was live in our morning slot from 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, and I think we went live for over 3 hours yesterday. Somehow I managed to go live for that long while sick. So it definitely helps us. So if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, if you haven't already done so, hit that thumbs up button. We've been over 100 people here for a while. We're still in the 60s. So make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button. It definitely helps us out, and we always appreciate it when you guys do as well. Okay? We always appreciate it when you guys do as well. All right, we're going to move into our late night chaser breakdown for everybody. It's always a great one to have, and I love when we do this one. The late night chaser breakdown. Shane, I do appreciate that. It's always appreciated, brother. For everybody that does. And if you're on your mobile device and you don't see it, what you're going to have to do, you'll have to X out of the live chat, right? On your mobile device, you'll have to X out of the live chat. Then you'll be able to see the thumbs up or thumbs down button. I love it. You know, we're live breaking down games. And we got 6 thumbs down. The haters are watching. I love it. Pro Rock JK, if you don't see it, if you're on your mobile device, you'll have to hit the X out of the live chat. Don't worry, you can go back to the live chat by hitting the live chat button. So hit that X out of the live chat, hit that thumbs up button. We definitely appreciate it. To the 6 losers that hit the thumbs down, we appreciate you as well, because what you didn't realize is even though you hit the thumbs down, you actually helped us. It's called a user interaction, so it doesn't matter if you hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down, it still helps us in a positive way. So, thank you. So even if you did hit the thumbs down, if you really wanted to, thought you were going to hurt us, you actually did the opposite. You helped us. You got us 6 more interactions. So you were better off just keeping your opinion to yourself, like your mama probably told you when you were a kid that you failed to listen to, because all you did was help us even more. So to the people that didn't like the live show and hit the thumbs down, I thank you and I applaud you guys as much as the 72 and climbing that have actually hit the thumbs up. We always appreciate even the ones that hit the thumbs down button. So all we've done is break down games. So don't worry, we're unfrozen now. I know, Dr. Franco. I shouldn't even tell them that, but hey, just shows how some are, but it's all good. Alrighty. New day, new dollar. Let's get this late night chaser breakdown rolling, and then we're going to jump right into the NFL. Shapenny, we just went over some great leans in college basketball. Darren, no, I don't watch Steve Stevens, the Bookie Killer show, but I do know who he is. No official free picks yet, but some very, very, very solid leans on the Minnesota game, Illinois game, Canisius and Hofstra game, Florida A&M and Furman game as well. And now we're going to jump right into the last college basketball game that we're going to do, which is the South Dakota and Washington game, which is our late night chaser breakdown of the day for you guys between South Dakota and Washington. We're going to run over this one real quick. You're going to find out the 5-1 Huskies, guys. Mike Hopkins has got his team rolling. They beat up Baylor in the beginning of the year, if you remember. They caught Baylor off guard in a neutral site game. Beat them 67-64. Shocking Division I basketball by beating Baylor, who has actually came back and they're 5-1 themselves. Their only loss is against Washington. And matter of fact, Baylor just beat Villanova. So, but Washington came back. They beat Mount St. Mary's 56-46. Sorry, 56-46. Beat them by 10. They lost by 13 to Tennessee. All right, lost by 13 to Tennessee, which is a very, very, very good college basketball program this year. They came back. They beat Maine by 19. They beat Montana by 17. And then they just dispatched San Diego by 19 as well. I was reading the live chat. All right, back to the Washington, South Dakota breakdown. Washington, guys, they're the home team. Not much of a home court advantage at the Alaska Airlines Arena. Just actually not much, but it's actually a decent one, 68th best. They got a score of 3.7. It's not the largest by any means, 106 largest. But I would give them a point and a half advantage for being the home team here with playing in Alaska Airlines Arena. When you're taking a look at the line on this game, Washington, the Huskies opened up as a 13-point favorite. It's down to 12.5. in a couple books. The D Casino has them at 12.5. The MGM and Mirage Properties all have them at 12.5. Total on this game opened up at 141.5, but the total's down a whopping 5 points, down to 136.5. Total is down low on this game from where it opened up. Let's see here. Where did my information go? Excuse me. All right, when you're taking a look at South Dakota, they're a 2-loss program, all right? They're 6-2 on the year. They've lost 2 out of their last 3 games. All right, they've lost 2 out of their last 3 games. They opened up with wins over Pacific. They beat them by 10, 72-62. They beat up Hawaii 81-75 in a close game there in Hawaii. They beat up Florida A&M, which obviously is a gimme team for just about everybody. Florida A&M is a gimme team, all right? They struggled against Florida A&M. They barely beat them by 3 in a neutral site game, 85-82, which tells you a lot about South Dakota, all right? They did beat up Texas Southern, though. They bounced back. They beat them by 19. They beat SIU Edwardsville by 15 points as well. They lost to Arkansas. They faced some stiff competition in Arkansas. They lost by 21. They came back. They bounced back against Cal Baptist, which is a strong, West Coast Cal State school when it comes to hanging tough. And they barely beat them 84-83 in a tough game. Cal Baptist is a sneaky team covering the spread and forcing a lot of opponents into tough games. But then they just lost to Northern Arizona, all right? That NAU there up in Flagstaff, Arizona, 76-72 is who they lost to. And that was on Saturday, guys. That was just a couple days ago, and here they are Monday on the road after playing in Flagstaff. Here they are. They get Washington in a tough arena to play in. All right, in a tough arena to play in. I see you guys chatting about the NFL. It's all good. We're going to be talking about that here in just a minute. Yeah, Hofstra up 26-19. I like to see that. I like to see Hofstra up 26-19. Fast Freddy, thank you for the Bravo Zulu. We always appreciate it when you give us that big Bravo Zulu award. For everybody in the military, you probably know what that is, specifically the Navy. All right, when you're taking a look at these two teams, guys, and you take a look at them side by side, all right, and you want to compare stats and statistics to both teams, you'll find out that South Dakota's offense is a fairly potent and fairly decent offense, all right? They actually have the better offense adjusted efficiency out of both of these teams combined. So you're going to give an advantage to South Dakota on offense. They've got the 59th best offense in all of Division I. But as we said, there was teams that they've actually struggled with against gimme games like Florida A&M, which is a team they should have beat them by 20. All right, they should have beat them by 20, and they didn't in that game. They actually only beat them by 3, and they struggled. They struggled to keep it at that anyways. Shooting from the field. And when it comes to defense, you're going to find out that Washington's defense is top-notch. They're in the top 20 in Division I. They're actually ranked 19th in all of Division I when it comes to their defense. And as well as South Dakota's defense is absolutely nothing. All right, it's nothing. They're actually ranked 258th in all of Division I. So defense for Washington or for South Dakota is going to struggle. All right, definite edge towards Washington, and that's why we see the line is where it's at. If this was a neutral site game, I'd have to say the line would have probably opened up right around 11 or 11.5, giving up a 1.5 to a 2-point home court advantage for Washington for the Huskies, guys. And when you're looking at them side by side, South Dakota on offense, fairly, somewhat, really impressive numbers. Not even somewhat, really impressive numbers. In some categories, they excel on offense well over what Washington does. They're hitting 57.6% from the field compared to 50.2% for the Huskies. When it comes to that 3-ball, believe it or not, South Dakota is the number 1 shooting 3-ball team in all of Division I. Yes, I said it. South Dakota is the number 1 shooting 3-ball team in all of Division I. All right? They hit 47.4% of all their 3-point plays. All right? They're converting nearly 50%. And they're, 8 games into the season? All right? And it's not that they don't take many looks. They actually take quite a few looks. They rely on 30, and believe it or not, this is actually a low number for a team that shoots that many. They actually rely on 31% of their points to come from out deep. Now, Washington, they struggle hitting the three ball so far early in the year. All right, Washington has struggled. Mike Hopkins has got to get his Huskies to start taking better quality looks from out deep for a team that's 5-1 on the year and has a big win over Baylor. They beat Montana, they beat San Diego, and they didn't just beat San Diego, they slaughtered San Diego by 19. All right, they're actually struggling hardcore to knock down a three. They're under 30%. Division I average is 33%. They're down here at 28.7%. So that's a huge advantage for the South Dakota offense, which, guys, remember, they've got the 59th best overall adjusted efficiency offense in all of Division I. But when it comes to the 2-point plays, this is where Washington starts to take a small little advantage, not by much. I mean, a couple percent. Washington knocking down 53%. The division average is 48.8. And then you got South Dakota averaging 51.4%, so not far off. I'm sorry, but 1.6% is not going to make a difference in this game. Overall, the course of the year, those numbers would add up. But when it comes to free throw shooting, again, huge advantage South Dakota. They're the 51st best free throw shooting team, coming in, knocking down 75.3% of all their free throws from the charity stripes. Guys, Washington is struggling, hitting just 66.4%. Believe it or not, that's 3.2% below the Division I average, all right? Fast Freddy says, you sent snow from Arizona mountains to the East Coast. Damn straight we had to get rid of it, all right? Damn straight we had to get rid of it. Joshua, another 100-plus showing for Cap Nation. Boom, absolutely. One day we'll start, we were creeping up in the high 190s, pushing 200 yesterday. We'll get there. You got to remember, we go live during the daytime, and most people are at work. Hell, that's the reason why, the competition doesn't go live during the daytime is because they're working their 9 to 5. That's a fact. That's a fact. All right, guys. When it comes to point distribution, Washington relies on only 19.4% of their points scored to come from out deep from the three ball, because they actually struggle from the three ball. 31% of the points scored for South Dakota will come from out deep. 48.9% will all be 2-point plays for South Dakota, compared to the 59.8%, which is 9% above the Division I average for Washington. When it comes to free throw shooting, both are right there in the 20 percentile. But if Washington was able to knock down more free throws, they're only at 66.4%. If they were able to convert at a much higher rate, they'd actually see a lot more points scored, considering that they actually rely on over 20% of all their points, almost 21% of all their points scored to come from the free throw line. Now, bench minutes, both are very similar. Washington goes to the bench for 22.2% of all minutes played, compared to 25.7% for South Dakota. 2-foul participation protocol, both teams extremely high, 41.1% for South Dakota compared to the 68.3% for Washington. Mike Hopkins has got to get that number under control. He's allowing his players to play. That's because they don't have a very deep rotation of players. They only rotate, a couple players in a couple key spots. They'll try and rotate their starting five. Quaddy Green, their 6-foot sophomore point guard, or Nazareth Carter, the 6'6" junior. Jaden McDaniels, Hamier Wright, Isaiah Stewart, their 6'9" freshman center. They'll try and rotate those players into multiple positions. I mean, you'll see Jaden McDaniels. He'll play everywhere from the forward position to shooting guard. Same thing with Jamel Bay. This kid will come off the bench. He's one of the kids that comes off the bench, and they'll move him into one of the guard positions. Isaiah Stewart, they'll move him from power forward to center to rotate their players, because it doesn't. They're not a deep team. They don't go to the bench for many players. They move around their starting five, and they do have 2 freshmen, 2 junior, and a sophomore, so they're not, the super experienced, stacked, as far as, Power 5 schools go. Yeah, they're playing all freshmen and freshmen and sophomores and that occasional junior. Excuse me, but as far as, Pac-12 school. They're not an experienced school with huge players. And you take a look at South Dakota, just take a look at their starting five. They've got 4 seniors and a junior that have all played together for many years, right? That have played together for many years. Tristan Simpson, Cody Kelly, Tyler Peterson, Stanley Umedi, Tyler Hagedon. They're 6'10" senior playing center. This kid's going to get 76% of all the minutes played at the center position. They might move Hunter Goodrick. He's a kid that they moved from the bench, the 6'7" freshman. He'll get all the playing time next year, all right? When Tyler Hagedon is gone, he'll split playing time with Stanley Umedi, who's a junior, assuming he doesn't go, which I don't think he'll go in the draft this year. I don't think he'll enter it. But Hunter Goodlock, he'll get some playing time in both positions, power forward and center, throughout the game when they do substitute out Tyler Hagedon or Stanley Umedi. But Stanley Umedi will move to center as well. So more depth when it comes to South Dakota. They'll go to the bench more often. They can move players around. As far as overall size advantage, there's actually a big size advantage for Washington. They've got over 2 inches, nearly 2.5 inch size advantage, which is a huge advantage when it comes to down being on the glass. So definite advantage for Washington there. With the line being where it's at, Washington laying 13 right now. I see 12.5 in 2 spots, but for the most part, it's 13 in most situations. Obviously, South Dakota's offense is great. Their defense stinks. However, they're going to be going up against a Washington team that has found ways to win. They're 5-1 on the year. They only lost to Tennessee, and they've put away some not stellar teams, but they put away some strong contenders that usually don't win many games, but they hold teams in check. Hofstra, I see 28-27 with 29 seconds left in the first half. 28-27 is what I see. Or 28-26, I just flashed back to it, but it might be 27. As far as this game goes, the late night chaser breakdown, as far as the total goes, total on this one, guys, is set at 136. It's actually down to 136 at the Westgate, okay? We actually have the final score prediction on this one. Where did it go? The final score prediction on this one, we actually have with a total of 142 points. So I do side towards the over on this one. But you got to remember, Washington is absolutely struggling. D-Mall, you got it at 141. If you're taking the under, great. If you're taking the over, you might want to rebet it and try and middle the game because it's down to 136. So it being at 136, our system having it at 140. Where did it go? 142 total points. I lean towards the over in this game. Over 136. You bet the under, good. Then you beat the line movement. So, but I don't have $1 in this fight. As far as the side of this game goes, it's a stay away for me. If Washington was shooting better, I would lay 100% on what Washington laying the points. The fact that South Dakota's defense is horrible. Washington will be able to move the ball down low. They hit 53% of all their 2-point plays. They struggle from the free throw line. They put up a decent amount of free throws a game. So it's definitely going to be the making for a lot of extra points, a lot of fouls by both teams. Historically, taking a look at both teams so far this year, they both give and take a lot of fouls. So I can see this game being on the higher scoring game. I know some of you guys are saying that you guys are leaning towards the under, but I can see this game going over, even with Washington's poor shooting and South Dakota's horrendous offense. They have horrendous defense. They have a horrendous defense, guys. So as far as this one goes. I see the game going over. As far as the side goes, I would like to lay my money on Washington. I think Washington wins the game. I think they even cover the spread. So I'll lean towards Washington. But if they were shooting better, I would actually bet them. But they're not. If they could actually convert just a tad bit better and they were shooting better, I'd bet them. But for that fact, I'm going to stay away from it. But if you put that bullet to my head and you said, Kyle, bet this game, which way are you going to put your money? I would definitely put it towards Washington, but it's definitely not a strong lean or anything like that, or else I would actually be betting the game myself. Shane, that's what you were thinking? Okay, good deal. Good deal. All right, now what we're going to do now is we're going to move into the NFL. All right, we're going to... I hate this. My automatic lights in my office. They need to give me a switch that I can leave on. Anybody know how to make those automatic lights stay on? If I put a piece of tape over it, will it stay on or just keep going off? All right, next up, we're going to move right into the NFL. All right, we're going to move right into the NFL. Monday Night Football breakdown, Vikings, Seahawks, coming up next. But first, guys, I need to go grab something out of the fridge to drink. I'm out of my coffee, and I'm absolutely dying. So my throat is absolutely killing me. So bear with me, literally 1 minute. Not even 1 minute, all right? We'll be back in 1 minute. Don't go anywhere. Kong those lights, give me a chance to stretch my arms. I know it's, and give a little clap. It's like it's on a clap on. It's mood lighting. Mood lighting for the Vikings-Seattle game. All right, guys, literally give me less than a minute. I'll be right back, probably 40 seconds, all right? Curtis, yeah, I know. But unfortunately, I don't own the office, so I can't change the switch. They put it in because apparently some of us leave our lights on all night long when we leave. So I guess we got that coming. I'll be right back, guys. We are back. See, it didn't take long. That didn't take long. Excuse me. All right. Now I know what you guys all been waiting for. The NFL. The NFL. The NFL. All right, we're going to move into that. Oh, I know, no movement is activated. And my big iMac, I have two big iMacs, and they're in front of that switch. 15 feet off of it. So iMacs block me so they don't see it. So they don't see me move. All right, so we're going to move into the NFL, guys. Take a look at what we can see for both teams here, as well as get you guys on something juicy. Pro Rock JK says Seahawks win for him. All right, let me pop up the NFL part because I'm not up on that, but we will be shortly. We will be shortly. Last game of Week 13, Monday Night Football. You gotta love it. Big matchup today, guys. Huge NFC showdown. 8-3 Vikings, 9-2 Seahawks. Seahawks at home. We're going to be moving right into that. I know I need to drink water. I don't have any bottled water with me today. Normally I bring it. I wasn't feeling so good when I came into the office this morning. All right, taking a look at the odds on this game. Hold on one second, guys. I'm going to pop up some different live odds for you guys as well. All right. Sponsoring Coke. Shane Russell, I'm a Packers fan, so go Seahawks. I can tell you 5 Dimes has a second half line, has Hofstra laying 2, minus 145 on the money line, over and under 79.5 second half as well. What was it? Oh, 28-26 low scoring first half. 79.5 points is what the second half line is at. Now, the NFL game opened up at 3. It's still hovering at 3. Where you guys have to be cautious when you're betting. Some of the books, if you're betting online, will try and get tricky with you. Okay, the line's pretty much 3 everywhere. The Westgate just bumped it to minus 2.5, but it's minus $1.20. All right, if you want to bet Seahawks laying 2.5. But if you want Minnesota plus 3, you got to lay $1.18. But if you take them at plus 2.5, they're plus 110. They're actually plus money at plus 2.5. They're trying to keep the magic number 3 here, is what the bookmakers are doing. They're keeping the magic number at 3 as far as the side goes. And when you take a look at the total on this game, total opened up at 49. It's sitting 48.5 at the Westgate. It's sitting 48.5 at 5 Dimes. And first of all, let me give the disclaimer out. I am not one who gives a rat's ass where the public bets. All right, I don't care where the public is betting. I'm going to base my bet off of stats, trends, statistics, hardcore, factual data that is going to be where I put my money. Now, where the sharps are betting, the self-imposed, self-titled sharps, you guys already know this. I'm going to put my money where I put my money, regardless of who on Twitter or YouTube or ESPN or who the Action Network says is betting where. The reason why is because I base my breakdowns on all the data that we're able to get. And let me tell you, we get a lot of data. We get the same information, the same stats, the same trends, the same stuff that the bookmakers get to make their lines. That's why when we are looking at college basketball or any sport in general, our final score predictions, obviously Vegas is not always right. They had the Jets favored yesterday. The Jets didn't win, obviously. So there's going to be a lot of times where where the numbers are off. But going down the list, having Illinois winning 77-69 tonight in college basketball. There's a reason why, when I give you guys these numbers, they're generally very, very close. All right, it's because we actually have and we use the same information that the bookmakers use. You want to beat the books, you need to use the stuff that the books use. Now, that stuff comes with a premium cost, huge 6-figure a year cost, but we're actually betting the games for thousands of dollars, so it's actually very beneficial to us as well as you guys as our clients to be able to use the same information that we use. So these numbers, and them trying to keep that line at 3, you need to be careful where you're betting, because there's certain situations where you'll go make a wager and you're not realize, like if you log on to 5 Dimes right now and you click on the NFL football, it's going to give you Minnesota plus 2.5, plus 110. Plus 110. Or if you're a Seahawks backer and you're going to bet the Seahawks and you want them, it's already pre-selected for you, minus 2.5, minus $1.30. There's a big difference in juice there. All right? There's a 20-cent line difference in juice compared to what they're taking in versus what they're paying out. All right? So they're obviously trying to get juice on one side versus the other. And you got to be able to read between the lines. But if you want them Seattle minus 3, it's actually only minus $1.02. All right? Or if you want the Vikings plus 3, it's minus $1.18 right now. So you need to be careful if you bet on sports. And that's, with any online book. Obviously, you go to the window, your options are what are up there. And if you want to buy down or up is priced accordingly. Okay? So you right now, just about everywhere, the line's minus 3, plus 3 for the Vikings. 48.5 seems to be the total all the way around. I like where you're leaning, Shane. I do. I like where you're leaning on this one. Well, maybe we'll be able to get you to bet one side or the other, and we'll have some great information for you guys as well. So we're going to do a nice big breakdown. All right, Minnesota 8-3 straight up, 6-5 against the spread, 6-5 on the over. Seattle 9-2 straight up, 6-4-1 against the spread, as well as 6-5 on the over as well. Okay, taking a look at both of these two teams, and we're gonna dive down in depth into both of them for you guys. All right. Excuse me, my voice seems to be going out at the current moment, so bear with me. Tossing it around, I think they'll be running the ball, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Vikings with Dalvin Cook is a team that's able to run when Seattle stacks the box with 8 men in the box. The Minnesota Vikings running back coach is well versed on running against a stacked box, and you're going to see it this year. You're going to see it, and Minnesota will probably be able to run the ball even against Seattle and their run defense, which is a very high caliber run defense. Not as strong as what Minnesota's put up this year, but we're going to see. You'll see the difference when we start breaking it down. First of all, these two teams did face off last year. Monday night football game in Seattle. Here we are again in Seattle, Monday night football game. They actually held Minnesota in check. Minnesota couldn't do nothing on Monday Night Football last year. It absolutely just stifled their offense. You probably could have gave them 12 quarters, and Minnesota probably still would have only put up 7 points last year. All right, Seattle beat them 21-7 last year, Monday Night Football, December 10th, so a little less than a year ago. Absolutely, Shane, I do side with you that Cook's going to do his damage, but Cousins is going to do his as well. But when you're taking a look at both of these teams, all right, obviously Seattle on a hot hand. They've got 2 losses. They lost to the Saints 33-27 earlier in the year in Week 3. And then they had their loss against the Ravens, losing 30-16. Since then, they beat up the Falcons. They beat them by 7. They beat the Buccaneers by 6. They beat the 49ers by 3 in a game that they gave away. 49ers had that game many times, and they couldn't put Seattle away. And you give Russell Wilson and Seattle plenty of opportunities, especially late in the game or overtime. Russell Wilson will do his thing, and he'll ball out. And he pulled away with the victory against the 49ers. And then last week, they just beat up the Eagles, which is not saying much about beating the Eagles because the Eagles just got beat by the Dolphins yesterday, all right? So a week ago, they beat the Eagles 7. They struggled to really put away the Eagles in a close game. They were laying 2. They won by 8, so obviously they covered the spread. and they've actually covered the spread 3 straight games, and then they're actually 4-1-1 out of their last 6 games covering the spread. But they actually struggled against the Eagles, which we saw what happened. All right, the Eagles got demoralized yesterday by the Dolphins, and the Eagles are a team, that the Vikings already beat up. They beat them up by 18. They beat them 38-20 back on October 13th. All right. The Vikings guys are riding 2 straight wins. They've actually won 6 out of their last 7 games. They've got 3 losses on the year. They lost to the Packers 16-21. They lost to the Bears in a disappointing game, a close game in Chicago. They actually lost 16-6. And then they lost to Kansas City 26-3. So they actually have 3 losses, and 2 of them are less than by 5 points, and 1 of them by 3 points. Other than that, they've won 6 out of their last 7 games with that 1 loss to Kansas City mixed in there. They beat up the Giants, the Eagles, the Lions, the Redskins. They lost to Kansas City. They beat the Cowboys in a close game by 4, and they just struggled against Denver. And if you guys remember, 2 weeks ago, they are coming off a layoff. A week off. They had their bye week. They struggled against the Broncos. They were down, I think, 20-0. They were down 20-0. They ended up coming back. They obviously did not cover the spread in that game, but we had the over in that game, over 40.5 in that game, if you guys remember. But we did not have the side on that game. They were laying 10. They came back in a second half comeback, and they outscored Denver 27-3 in the second half. Here they enter their bye week. They've had a full week to recover. Dalvin Cook's coming in prepared. Kirk Cousins is coming in prepared. If you don't think that Minnesota is well prepared for their game in Seattle after having a bye week, players are well rested. They're healthier, having that week off. They're definitely coming in prepared for this game. Well, like I said, when it comes to college basketball, Kong and everybody else, I wouldn't be too concerned about the back and forth with 17 minutes left in the second half. That game, unless it's a blowout, that game doesn't really matter until the last 3-4 minutes anyways. So them being down now, I'm sure that score will flip-flop 6 more times, if not more. Michael says DJ Metcalf is going to smoke that secondary. Hold on 1 second, guys. So, exactly. You can say same things for both teams on both sides of the field are going to have great games. Taking a look at these 2 teams, Seattle 20-8 against the spread at home against resilient defenses, allowing more than 17.15 yards per point. Here you go. Minnesota, the Vikings 0-7 against the spread. Their last 7 Monday Night Football games on the road. The Vikings as a whole 0-7 on the road on Monday Night Football against the spread. Seattle 20-5 on the over versus an opponent after a bye. There's no doubt about this. You cannot discredit Pete Carroll or Russell Wilson in primetime games. I think Russell Wilson is 6-1 in his last 7 primetime games as a starter. Pete Carroll is like 19-2 or 18-2 or 18-3 in primetime games as a head coach of the Seahawks. So there's no discrediting, old Petey Carroll, who I actually really enjoy watching as a fan. Obviously he was coach over at USC, so I obviously like Pete Carroll as a coach, but there's no discrediting what him and Russell Wilson have been able to do in primetime situations. But also, let's not forget, last year, Minnesota was able to hold Russell Wilson to 72 passing yards. So, that Minnesota defense is going to be no slouch. Minnesota, the 6th best defense in the NFL. They also have the 7th best offense in the NFL as well. And as Randy G just said, Coach Zimmer is, he's vowed to, fix the secondary in the bye week, and it's one thing that he's going to have to do. Obviously we know how mobile, Russell Wilson is. They average 137 yards rushing and 249 in the air, and a lot of that is Russell Wilson on the ground. So, we know, the Vikings are going to have their work cut out for them, but they should be, up for the task and be able to stop Russell Wilson, or at least be able to do what they did last year and hold him to 72 passing yards a game. Taking a look at both of these two teams, let's dive into the numbers first before we start getting into personal feelings. Let's read the facts, all right? Vikings average 26.3 points per game compared to the 26.5 for Seattle, so very similar numbers. On offense, both of the numbers are fairly consistent and nearly identical. All right, Vikings average 31 rushing plays at 142 yards a game, 4.6 yards per carry. Seattle, on the other hand, they average one less rushing play a game at 30. They average 137 rushing yards at 4.6 yards per carry. So as far as who's the better rushing team, they're both very similar numbers. However, Minnesota has the better numbers, but really it's so minuscule. There's no edge there. As far as the passing game goes, Seattle averages 32 passing plays a game. They average 249 yards in the air at 7.8 yards per passing attempt, compared to the 29 passing plays of old cousins in the Vikings, averaging 236 in the air and 8.1 yards per passing attempt. So less passes, more yardage, definitely favors the Vikings. However, it's such a small number compared to what Seattle and Russell Wilson average that there's really no advantage. So offenses, both could run the ball. Obviously, one has the more mobile quarterback than the other. One does the bootleg out better, and that's Kirk Cousins moving the ball downfield. But there's no denying the fact Russell Wilson's passer rating, as well as what he's done this year, moving the ball downfield, is absolutely has been pivotal for their team as well. Thank you, Daniel, for that text message. I do appreciate that heads up as well. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that text, brother. So no denying what Russell Wilson's been able to accomplish on the ground and in the air as well this year. And Minnesota's going to have a tall task. Their secondary has had issues over the past few weeks, and it's something that they've needed to correct. They gave up 23 points to Denver in their win there. They gave up 24 to Dallas. They gave up 26 in their loss to the high-flying Kansas City Chiefs. They held Washington to 9. They gave up 30 to the Lions. They gave up 20 in their win over the Eagles, and they gave up 10 against the Eli Manning-less New York Giants. So it's one thing that they're going to have to get under control. But both teams have given up some big numbers to not so stellar teams, including Seattle. They gave up 9 to the Eagles, which wasn't much. They held the Eagles in check, but they gave up 24 to the 49ers in their big win there. They gave up 34 to the high-flying Jameis Winston and the Buccaneers. They did beat them. They beat them by 6. Somehow they covered the spread in that game. That was a big back-and-forth game. They gave up 20 to Matt Ryan and the Falcons. They gave up 30 in their loss to the Ravens, where they got torched. They gave up 28 to Baker Mayfield and the Browns. They gave up 29 in their 1-point victory over Sean McVay's Rams. They held the Cardinals to 10. They gave up 33 when they lost to Drew Brees and the Saints. They gave up 26 to the Steelers and 20 to Andy Dalton in Week 1 in their 1-point victory. So both teams can score. Both teams' defense has had problems over stopping teams from being able to put up points, and it's primarily in the air game, because when you take a look at their running defenses, first of all, both teams, let's compare their defenses real quick. The Vikings holding teams to 18.6 points per game, and this is why they have the sixth best defense in the league. All right, this is why the Vikings have the 6th best defense in the league. They give up just 18.6 points per game compared to the 23.9 of the Seahawks. They're holding teams to 94 rushing yards a game at 4.1 yards per carry. All right, Seattle's given up 102 rushing yards to opponents, averaging giving up 4.5 yards per carry. So, that extra foot and a half difference could make the difference of a first down or not, that they give up or not. So, as far as, their run game, both teams very, very, very capable to stop the run, defend the run. I think as far as defending the run, I think Minnesota has the better run defense. It's been proven, at least on paper and at least numbers. That's been proven. Dalvin Cook's going to give them a hard time. Minnesota's a team that can run against a stacked box. When old Pete Carroll, when he puts his defense in and they put 8 in the box, it's very hard to run. All right, it's very hard to run. They're begging you to pass the ball, which they don't want to do against Kirk Cousins. They don't want to, do that against Kirk Cousins. And the thing is Dalvin Cook is capable, and he's already shown it all year long, and he's shown it for a long time that he's capable to run the ball in a stacked box. When they put 8 or 9 men in the box, he's capable to still knock off 20-yard runs and break out big plays and hurt opponents doing that. And he's done it all year long. And one thing that it's going to do when Seattle stacks the box, it's going to put that one-on-one opportunities on the outside for those Vikings receivers, and and both teams have given up big yardage to opposing quarterbacks. And you're going to see this when I tell you the numbers. Minnesota averages giving up 244 yards on 38 plays in the air at 6.5 yards per passing attempt, compared to the 269 yards on 40 plays. So for 2 plays more, Seattle's given up over 25 yards to opposing offenses in the air a game at 6.8 yards per passing attempt. Both are in the plus category when it comes to turnovers. +9 for Seattle, which is a great number. +4 for Minnesota. So slight edge as far as turnovers go for Seattle. There's a 5 turnover differential, but both are in the plus category, not in the minus category. So I kind of cancel both of those out when they're in the plus category, all right? Because both are capable to pick off opposing quarterbacks as well as, force fumbles and recover fumbles. Excuse me. So, in a nutshell, here's another stat. Seattle 5-1 straight up and against the spread in the last 6 meetings hosting the Vikings. No doubt about it. Seattle's owned the Vikings in Seattle. Don't forget to factor in that day off of rest as far as that game goes. The Tank Bowl, Warriors and Hawks, did we go over that game? No, we didn't, unfortunately. We did a bunch of college basketball. So, going to get you guys on a free play on this one. I think I've probably already given it away on my opinion. I try and do the breakdowns as non-biased as possible, but just read the facts and let them basically, put out to what it is. Heck, the last 2 games that they played, both games went under. Both games went under by a country mile the last 2 times. However, the over is 3 out of 3 and 2 in the last 5. And let's not forget, unders are 24-13 in primetime games this season, hitting 65% of the time. But both of these 2 teams are very capable to put up high numbers. And like I said, Seattle 5-1 against the spread on the road this year, just 1-4 against the spread at home. All right, so that home field advantage with the big advantage that they've had there at CenturyLink Field hasn't really factored into them against the spread. Now, are they winning games at home? Yes. All right, they're winning games at home. They did lose to the Saints at home, and they did lose to the Ravens at home. All right, their 2 losses came at home this year, so they've shown that they're capable to lose, but they lost to the Ravens and the Saints, 2 top teams in the league. So if the Vikings want to establish themselves as real contenders, as I think somebody just posted that, Randy G just posted the same thing. If they want to establish themselves as a real contender, they're going to have to come out with a victory today. I think this is going to be a close game. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I know somebody said it earlier, and I forget who said it, but that Seattle's been dodging bullets, and they have. All right, they dodged bullets against the Eagles. They dodged bullets against the 49ers. They dodged bullets against the Bucks. They dodged bullets against the Falcons. They didn't have a chance because they got hit by all the bullets against the Ravens. They dodged them against Cleveland. They dodged them against the Rams. They dodged them against Cincinnati to open the season, winning by 1, against the Steelers, winning by 2. They have absolutely dodged bullets all year long to get to a very impressive 9-2 record. My personal feelings on Seattle: is Seattle, are they the real deal? No, in my personal opinion. I think they've struggled against poor teams that they should have manhandled and dominated over. We saw that against the Eagles. They beat them by 8. We saw that against Tampa Bay. They beat them by 6. All right, yeah, they beat them. A win is a win, but it wasn't in a dominating fashion. Just because you covered the spread or you pushed on the spread doesn't mean you're beating up teams that you should have beat up in convincing fashion. They struggled against the Bengals. They struggled with Bengals just got their first win, and they beat them by 1 point back in week 1. They struggled against the Steelers, winning by 2. They they lost to the Saints. They struggled against the Rams. They beat them by 1. We all know who the Rams are. Okay, the Rams just beat up the Cardinals in a gimme game, but it's still Sean McVay and the Rams. All right, they struggled against Baker Mayfield and the Browns. They struggled, obviously, against Baltimore because they got their ass kicked. They struggled against Matt Ryan and the shitty Falcons. They struggled against Jameis Winston, who made us a plus 185 on no picks yesterday. And then they struggled against the 49ers. They didn't put away the 49ers. They kept blowing the game. They gave the 49ers every opportunity to win that game, and quite frankly, the 49ers should have won that game. Plenty of opportunities to win that game, and they didn't. But Russell Wilson pulled it out. Hats off to him in that game. We actually had Seattle in that game, so obviously we were happy with the outcome, taking the plus points. So, we've timed Seattle right, betting on them and against them nearly every single time this year that we've taken them. As a matter of fact, I don't think we've lost betting on or against Seattle, either betting them or fading them this year. I think we're 100%. As far as the Vikings go, we've made some great money on them as well. So as far as, free play goes on this one, I'm going to get you guys a free play. I'm going to put it in the chat here for you as well. Alrighty, we are taking, I know I got it somewhere on here. And get it on the screen as well. Now this is actually a premium and a personal play. Alright, this one actually got double dipped. I actually like it that much that it got double dipped, so you guys are in luck, all right? Hang on one second. There. Oop, oop, oop. There you go. Free personal play / premium play. Minnesota Vikings plus the 3. We're taking the road dog here in the plus the 3. I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to come down to the wire. They absolutely did struggle that first half, but they came out. I wouldn't say they struggled because they didn't struggle the second half. They struggled the first half. They came out, they played shitty the first half, but they corrected it, Michael, the second half, and they outscored Denver 27-3 the second half. And that wasn't last week. That was 2 weeks ago. Vikings haven't played since the 17th of November. They're coming off a bye this week, so they had a full week, full extra week. So we're taking the Vikings plus the points, and I can tell you this much: we're not in the side of the public on this one. All right, guys. Nearly 80% of the public all rolling with Seattle. So nearly 80% of the public, it's at 78%, is rolling with Seattle. Just 22% rolling with the Vikings. So we're going to take the Vikings plus a 3. I could be wrong. Maybe one team blows out the other because of turnovers, but both teams are capable to create turnovers. But I think this game comes down to the wire. I think it's going to have a playoff-type atmosphere. Obviously, Seattle crowd's going to be in it. It's going to be a great game as far as that one. And for everybody that's saying, the Vikings struggled against the Denver defense, they didn't struggle against the Denver defense for the entire game. They struggled for the first 2 quarters. But you guys got to remember, good coaching staffs, good coaches with quality players are able to fix issues. And that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did against Denver 2 weeks ago. They didn't play last week. They played 2 weeks ago. They're coming off a bye. All right? They come off a bye. And they came back that second half, and they kept Denver in check, and they took full advantage of that Denver defense. They outscored them in the second half, 27-3, I think it was. Michael says Seattle money line seems to be the smart move, but if you're thinking that Seattle's only going to win by 1 or 2 or possibly 3, and you're willing to lay $1.55 because you think they're going to win by 1 in a close game or win by 2 in a close game, you'd be better off taking Minnesota plus 3, laying $1.10 juice. But if you think Seattle's going to walk away with the victory, then you lay the 3. Or minus 2.5 and lay the $1.30 for it. But either way, if you think it's going to be a close game, deciding by 1 or 2, then, I'd be looking at cost value / where you think the money's going to go. Shane says money line is the way to go. Seattle wins plus by 2. If you're really hard in thinking that Seattle wins by 2, then you'd be better off value-wise taking the Vikings plus 3. And only having to lay $1.10 to get it at plus 3. Exactly. As Dr. Franco says, money line is a bit too much. Money line is a bit too much. As far as the total, the over and under goes, I do have another personal play on that one. If you want it, you'll have to get on board. I've got 4 personal plays today. Just gave you one of them. If you want the other, feel free. If you want the other ones, feel free to jump on board. And always a good time. We went live for over 3 hours, folks, so it was a very well in-depth show. Not only Monday Night Football, but as well as college basketball leans and breakdowns. We hit, what did we hit? Minnesota game, Illinois game, Canisius and Hofstra game, Florida A&M game, Furman game, South Dakota and Washington. Broke down 6 college hoops games as well as some other great subjects we discussed. So enjoy that free play, guys. Let's make a boatload of money. Let's start the week off right, just like we did last time. And remember, guys, we've hit the last 7 straight Monday Night Football games, including 6 side and totals. So safe to say we've done exceptionally well when it comes to Monday Night Footballs this week, and it ain't going to stop now. So enjoy that free play. Remember, guys, jump on board. Get 2 weeks of my personal plays for just $250. As well as many other great deals, including UFC, $50 for a month, $250 for a year, $350 for the UFC, including every guaranteed max fight pick that FC puts out for a whole year for $350. So if you guys aren't on that, then you guys are going to be sorry and be missing out. Jonathan, if you're getting plus 2.5, that means you're getting it at plus money, because I see 5 Dimes has plus 2.5, plus 110. So I'd make sure you get it at 3 or more. That way it's not tied going in, because I believe it's going to be decided at the end by a kick. One way or another. One way or another, I think it's going to be a close game, but I think we pull out on top. everybody have a great day. Enjoy your Monday. That's how tired I am. See, we got it right here. Hold on. We got the it's next serving of bromamir Sudafed DM syrup, and then the antibiotic and steroid are at the house for tonight. Michael says this game's going under. Joshua says thanks, Kyle. Get better. Thank you. I appreciate that. Brian, thank you. And guys, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button on your way out the door. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Also, do us a big favor. Please do hit the thumbs up button on your way out the door. It's always greatly appreciated when you guys do. Great crowd. Remember, we'll be live again tomorrow. We'll be live noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. We go live every single day, Monday through Friday, same time, same place. So don't miss out, guys. It's going to be another great week of sports betting as well as leans and free plays. Leans were off the hook this weekend. What did we say we went? 11-4 on leans this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, including the one that I gave you guys to bet. Jameis Winston throws no interceptions, plus 185. I know nobody else is giving you that good stuff. So make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button. And free plays last week went 10-5. Free plays were 10-5 last week, and they're going to be even better this week. So enjoy, guys, and let's make a boatload of money together, and let's have some fun. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in for everybody that does and spreading the word, and thanks, Jamar. I appreciate that. I should be much better tomorrow. 24 hours. Tonight at 8 p.m. will be 24 hours on antibiotics, so hopefully I'll be feeling better by then. Thanks, guys.